Hey, folks. All right. I did not get to do my sound check before I started. So can y'all hear me? Because if not, we got to fix this sound. Can you guys hear me? Let's just make sure I have this right. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? It's saying you can, but I can't tell yet. Why is my live chat so delayed? That's a yes. All right. Christina Reed says yes. Are we good? All right. I'm getting a little washed out by this light here. Beautiful. Dang, this thing is delayed today, huh? Okay, guys. And somebody said, hold on. Christina Reed said he's making tea, and I am. So give me 1 second because I got to get it off my stove. Don't judge. Okay. Jeez. I'm lying. It's in the microwave. I was playing. I want to cook it on the stove. I ain't have enough time. Okay. Stuff on. All right, we in this. Okay, folks. Sorry about that. So as we normally do, we're gonna do some check-ins and chop it up for a few minutes while I give people an opportunity to get on, and then we'll definitely jump right into our live. All right. Let's see. Let me scroll back up to the top. If I miss your comment, please forgive me. There's a lot of people, so I can't always get everybody. I kind of just scroll. What's going on? Raywin, Baby Gang, LaDonna, Delisha, Michelle, Pierre, what's going on? High Definition, Lady V. I see you on all the lives. I appreciate you for supporting. Avocado Queen. Shout out to Anna Smith. She doesn't always get to get on, but she always does support from afar, so I appreciate that. J Law. Lovely Coley 211. Sam J, I appreciate you too. You be on all the videos, all of them. See you too, Dina Newton. Christina Reed again. SF, what's up? What's up? I'm skipping a few people. Please forgive me. I'm trying to get to the bottom so I can start. Serenity Joy, I recognize that name as well. Janet Bennett, Imani, Black Women Read. Hey, that's my Twitter buddy. Corvette Shrell, shout out to Austin, Texas. What's going on, Alan? Wait, you can't see? Hunter said, no, I can't. I know. I got to give you back a minute. Listen, y'all act like we ain't going to be in here for like 2 or 3 hours. My bad. So I was trying to go live and I realized I was not even logged in on the right account. Like, you know, with, I have 2 accounts. I have this account and then I have another account that I actually enjoy YouTube from. And I'm like, why can't I get to my live? And I'm like, this ain't even the right account. That's why. Duh. I ain't get to do my sound check or nothing. And I just made it in from work maybe 20 minutes ago. It was a long day. We'll talk about it in a second, but I'm here. Maya Martin said, how was my Thanksgiving? It was cool. I didn't really do anything major. Something real subtle. Me and one really, really good friend, we just chopped it up for Thanksgiving. Let me see. Chauncey said, let me get something to sip for this one. Look, I have mine ready. Tonight, it's ginger tea again. All right. I'm obsessed with ginger tea. But I did get a chance. I really like Thai iced tea as well. And so that's one of the things I've missed about being able to really go to restaurants and stuff. I would always go to Thai restaurants because I love their Thai iced tea. But I have found a decent little Thai iced tea company, and I just ordered it online. I've been making my own. It still doesn't taste like the stuff they make at the restaurant, but I'll take it. It's cool. I just heard Biz Markey's not doing well. Oh, no. It's crazy. We'll get to that, too. I haven't got to him, but as far as just a conversation around health and a lot of people passing on. Eric Hicks, what's going on? All right, I'm scrolling a little bit faster because I'm stalling here. Jessica says, FCC has taken away local channels from DirecTV and Dish Cable. Look, all the networks stay fighting with all the networks and the providers all the time because Comcast be taking me through it all the time. Whole family's here. The Reagan doc was great. Good recommendation. We'll get back to him, too. I appreciate you for that. Your beautiful melanin for the win. I don't know. I'm breaking out right here. I don't know if y'all can tell. It's like it's stress from, I don't know if it's stress from COVID, but man, it's like I'm starting to turn into connected dots again. It's making me a little nervous. Let me see here. We in here, Calvin. I just warmed us up. Oh, I just warmed up some spaghetti. All right. Don't fall asleep after you eat, because if you like me, after I eat a heavy meal, it's over. We're done for the day. Ain't gonna be doing nothing else. All right, I'm gonna scroll to the bottom because I gotta get to the topics, but please forgive me if I didn't get to see your comment. Somebody said I love Thai iced tea, but be careful with what is too much sugar, or is there something else in it that I need to know about? Did I see the debate high definition? I am going to talk about it. Yes. Do I drink chamomile tea, Maya? I do. I like to drink that if I'm trying to relax and calm down, or it's really good for if you want to go to sleep. Also, for those, I'm probably the worst person to give skincare advice, but like chamomile tea bags, like if you put them in like the hot water and hold it on like a problem area, it helps to lower like the inflammation of whatever area is really triggered. I mean, I'm probably the last person y'all should be taking skincare advice from, but I'm just saying. Let me see here. Somebody said I'm sitting here drying my hair with you. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and jump. I'm so glad y'all are here. Like I said, we're doing 2 lives this month. So this is going to be probably the last live for the year that's really, I don't think this is even really a heavy live. We're talking about a few heavy things, but we're covering a lot of stuff. The other live, I said, let's just have fun. It's going to be on December 17th. Giveaways, trivia. I thought of some new games and stuff we can play. I'm trying to be a little whimsical. I want to close the year out on a good note. So, yeah, that'll be December 17th, 9 p.m. I believe that's a Thursday. Let me see here. Tea bags to the face. Let me keep going. Okay. When are we doing a Zoom call? Good question. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. No, I wanted to do it this month, but the problem is, like I said this in the last live, I'm trying to not stretch myself thin with so many things. And I just, anything I sign my name to, I want to make sure it's done right so that we're just not doing anything and it's not high quality. It seems like what's happening with the Zoom is that y'all are like 50 people ain't enough. It's 40. I think I'm at 45 or 46,000. It's like 45,000 of y'all. But out of that 45, in my head, I'm guessing it's probably 200 or 300 people that would like to participate. And so I'm like, okay, we got to figure out a plan B. And so I haven't figured out my plan B for Zoom. Zoom could be fun, but Zoom can be chaotic if you have a bunch of people on it. So I don't know how it's going to work. So I'm going to figure it out. I'm still brainstorming it. But in the meantime, the closest thing to the Zoom would be what I talked about on the last live with the Station Head, which you all can follow me on. You just need to, like I said, Station Head is pretty much like online radio. I have a show that starts on December 14th, 7 p.m. It's probably not going to be every Monday at 7 p.m. The times will kind of vary, but it'll probably be one show per week. The good thing about it, like I said, is there's a chat just like this. You guys can actually call in and we can actually have a dialogue about whatever the content is for that day. If I'm gracious enough or comfortable enough, I can actually invite people who have accounts to co-host specific episodes, whatever we're talking about. Maybe there's like a music conversation, stuff like that. And so again, with Station Head, you can download the app to your phone. If you're not comfortable downloading apps to your phone, it also works on Google Chrome as well, as far as the web browser. And so the cool thing that I said I liked about it is that I can play music, and which is perfect, because sometimes like when we're doing these lives, there are some moments where I'm like, dang, I just need like 30 seconds to regather my thoughts before I jump into the next one. So this is perfect because now I can play like a song and gather my notes and keep going. And then the cool thing, which I did not know until I had a conversation with the people at Station Head, is that because I play music, like for those who have Spotify, I have my Spotify account synced with Station Head. So pretty much if you're on Spotify, which you would have to be in order for you to get the full experience. If you're not on Spotify, every time I play a song, you just hear silence. But anytime I'm doing dialogue, you hear me again. But for those who are on Spotify, anytime I play a song, the stream counts for each person that's listening. So, hey, that might be a cool way to promote my next project if I have one. It's not, I heard it's not available on Android yet. But again, for those who have desktops, you can do it on Google Chrome. I'm still trying to see the rules about how I'd be allowed to maybe upload the episodes on this channel afterwards. But the issue we run into is, again, if I'm playing music, there's that copyright strike. You know what I mean? I can't take that kind of smoke with YouTube because I feel like YouTube is trying to get me out of here low key. I keep watching different things happen on my channel that haven't started happening until this year. I'm like, okay. And mind you, I'm pretty like chill on YouTube. I don't think I'm too much of a problem. We talk about a lot of heavy stuff, but even the way I present it is it's not in a way that makes people want to go out and kill nobody or nothing. SF said, have I already done my first Station Head live? I have not, but I have started setting up my playlist. So I think if you go on there now, there might be music playing. Yo, Chris V, happy birthday. He's 29 today. Chris V is one of our long-term supporters, so we shout him out. Oh, I remember when I turned 29. Where's the What Happened to Usher Here I Stand video you promised? It comes out December 30th. Like I said, I just want to make sure quality is there. I love doing the What Happened videos, but they do take a lot of time because I think the longest part is getting all the footage you want and making sure it's in the right context with whatever you're presenting. And again, I'm such a history buff. I really like to go back in time, before the era and really dig up the research. I really liked doing the Brandy one. The Brandy one was fun because, you got to kind of get into that history about the lack of teen pop stars that were Black women in the 80s and the 70s and 60s and kind of correlating it to Brandy's career later down the line. That was really cool. And Penny Floyd, I talked about her in the Brandy video. She actually saw the video, which was cool, and kind of gave a shout out. So shout out to Penny Floyd. I don't know if you're watching, but that was really cool. How old am I? I am getting older. I am 32. I'm a new 32 though. Well, no, it's not really that new. I turned 32 in August. But all right. Let's see. Oh, somebody says I have a fun fact about Brandy. Vera Wayne, go ahead, but don't be saying nothing crazy. Anyway, we're gonna keep going. So I do want to start with the obvious. I know a lot of you guys saw the news. Man, the Natalie Desselle, that one was totally just shocking, right? I had no idea. Yesterday was a really chaotic work day, so I didn't even get a chance to really be on social media or anything like that until hours after the fact. And like two of my friends had just texted me like, "Oh, Natalie," and put hearts and a little gif of her from Baps. And I'm thinking, "Oh, okay, yeah, she's funny, ain't she?" And then I got home, and when I looked at everything, I was like, "Oh, she died." And so she apparently died from colon cancer. Crazy. I don't know. This whole year is weird. I mean, every year there's going to be people who pass on. It's just a part of life, but it just seems like there's been an overabundance of unexpected death in 2020, not even including everything in relation to COVID, but just with celebrities and public figures. And even personally, I've just seen so many people I know personally who've lost parents or siblings or children. It's been a weird year. And I think, like I said before, I think with a lot of times when celebrities pass, even if people don't know that person personally or individually, there's sometimes a connection because the work of those different artists or those entertainers or public figures, they correlate to sometimes a happier time in people's life. So for me, when I think of Natalie, the first thing, of course, I'm going to think of is Baps. I think that's one of the funniest movies. A lot of people didn't like the movie. They thought it was too stereotypical. I enjoyed the movie because I didn't think the characters were one-dimensional. I think had the characters in Baps remained with the same demeanor that they had in the first 10 minutes of the movie, I probably was gonna be like, nah, this ain't gonna work. But you see the character development. And again, no disrespect, I know a whole lot of people like Niecy or Mickey and the other one in the movie in real life. So I'm like, okay. The Cinderella movie was cool too. I didn't really watch it like that as a kid. I wasn't pressed to see it when it came out, but I did remember seeing it. She was funny in that too. Because I just remember her being pissed because the shoe didn't fit. And she was talking about, oh, it fit the other day. I know it's supposed to fit. But yeah, so that's kind of sad. But again, it's kind of like when these people pass, it's just, I don't know. Another random death that, and I wasn't even really super connected to this artist, but when Phife Dawg died from Tribe Called Quest, for some reason, I think it's because at the time I was still working with the magazine and there had just been, I think Tribe Called Quest, there were the rumors that they were getting back together and everything like that. And so I remember I just went down the rabbit hole of all the material and everything. And so I had just got in this whole wave and I was really obsessed with everybody who was in the Native Tongues crew. So like De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, all of the friends associated. So like a Queen Latifah, Moni Love. Was just in this pocket where I was just enjoying all of them. And then they're like, oh, Phife Dawg died. I'm like, what? Since when? Crazy. But again, and we've seen like Chadwick Boseman pass on, which is still tragic to read. I'm sure everybody's going to really support the movie that's coming out. And then even then, like throwback to like an MC Trouble who had epilepsy and before her career could really jump off, she had a seizure and passed on. It's a lot. And I mean, those are just some, of course. Then when you get to the superstars, the Whitneys and the Michaels and the who else and Prince and Aaliyah and Left Eye, and there's just so many. Natalie Cole, Maurice from Earth, Wind and Fire. It's like, geez, it's the hardest part about getting older is watching everybody transition. The other thing I would hope people would have later down the line, I feel like with everything that's been happening, you're starting to see a lack of empathy for the struggles of different people. And I feel like COVID has highlighted that because I think one phrase I've seen a million times now that literally is like, I get triggered every time I see it. It's like when people say, oh, people die all the time. People die all the time. I'm like, dang. I understand that people die all the time, but I feel like it's such a dismissive response to something that people are passionate or care about. I'm not about to jump into the COVID conversation tonight, but again, even with that, you've seen so many people, well, people die all the time, blah, 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 blah. And then sometimes people make they make correlations that don't even relate. Like they'll say, oh, well, you know, this many 100,000 people died from smoking. And I'm like, but with smoking, it's not something that would be contagious where you're in a park and somebody's smoking a cigarette and now you're a smoker. And then in 2 weeks, you're possibly going to die. You know what I mean? Not the same kind of energy, or even when they're like a 99.9% survival rate. And I'm like, I get that. And that's all fine and dandy, but that would have been something you would argue back when there were only 50 people in the world that had it. Not, what, 60 million apparently? Just, anyway, enough on that. Absolutely crazy. Let me check the comments real quick and then we'll keep going. I'm trying to remind me, people, we're going to check the comments after each segment because you know I'll get in my pocket and not shut up for like an hour. Oh, yeah. Amulet said, I always think back to when she said, give me a plate. And then starts throwing down. Listen, I feel like that's what started the conversation about seasoning in food. I swear it had to, at least with my generation. That was a funny movie. I love that movie. Oh, and she was on the show with Eve. I remember that, where it was called Eve, but her character wasn't called Eve. Kind of like the Cosby Show, but he was called Cliff. I've never seen Baps. I feel like Baps is everywhere. You can find it on anything. Let's see. I love that version of Cinderella. Crap, now my voice is, I gotta drink my tea. I'm about to cough. It's not COVID, y'all. I just suddenly went down the wrong pipe. All right, Five's death was devastating to me. If I can still find it, I'll share with you guys the piece I wrote on Five Dog when he passed, when I was still at the magazine. Where are we at? Five Dog. Hey, cousin. Oh, my cousin Tiffany's on. What up, Tiffany? So Tiffany is the real singer in my family. I know I make music, but I don't consider myself a vocalist. I consider myself somebody who just has a good enough ear to do just enough to get by. Tiffany is the singer, right? We were trying really hard to get her on the last album, but we just weren't able to connect. There was a song that was supposed to be on a hardcover called Family Affair, and I was like, just take the song, do what you want with it. But schedules didn't connect, but we'll make it happen. So yeah, that's the singer in the family. You want to talk about like some real pipes and some range and resonance and sustainability and can pull them notes out of anywhere. And you'd be like, how do they do that? Like the last time I was in Savannah, she was in the studio working on one of her projects, and she was getting my nerves because she was recording all of her songs in one take. And I'm just sitting here like, hell. Because look, when I'm in here and my stuff, maybe it's because I'm also being my engineer at the same time. I'm like, one take. I'm not a one taker. I was a one taker on my first album, but I didn't like how it sounded. So I was like, let me spend a little bit more time on the second one. Anyway, shout out to my cousin Tiffany. Yeah, Tiffany. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna tell the family business anyway, since we're here. If you guys remember my podcast, I told you guys about like Monopoly when I was younger. This is that Tiffany. I told you when I was little, I lost every time because I wasn't good. Tiffany and I think are 7 or 8 years apart. And whatchamacallit, it would be me, cousin Tiffany, cousin Brandon. Tiffany would have been like 14. Brandon was like, maybe Brandon was 9. I might have been 7. Either way, I was not good at counting because what was I in first grade? And Brandon and Tiffany would just gang up on me in every game. They'd have immunity, insurance, alliances, all kind of rules that are not even, and I'm 7. What do I know about immunity, insurance? And then Tiffany would not let you out of the game to lose. Like Tiffany would have all the houses, hotels. All I got is little Reading Railroad. That's all I got. So no matter where I go on the board, actually, no, Tiffany's 9 years older than me, 7 years older than Brandon. No matter where I go on the board, I got to pay. And so I would land and Tiffany got 1,500 hotels. Brandon got a few houses. I owe everybody $20,000 here, $700 here. I got $8. And instead of them just letting me lose the game, they would take everything but the $1 so I could keep playing. Then I got to play it again. And, I'd be praying to get to that goal. And I'd pray that I would land on my little Reading Railroad. And I would pray that I would land on the jail box with the just visiting. Good times. I love my family. They're funny. So yeah, me and Tiffany got a whole bunch of good memories. But yeah, see, she said we're gonna make that happen. So hey, we're gonna try to get Tiffany on the next project. If not, I'll just produce a song for her and she can put it out. Okay, switching gears here. Let's see here. Casey Goodson, let's start with the stimulus and then I'll get to Casey Goodson. That's the one I really want to talk about. So as I've said before, and I catch smoke for it all the time, I'm not a fan of most of these politicians. I just think a lot of them are corrupt. I don't think they're really about the people. I don't think they're in it for the good of the country. A lot of these people are in office because they're securing their legacy and their generational wealth for their families and the people who share their interests long term. And really, the people are just, we're collateral. And you're seeing it with even the conversations around the relief package, as far as the stimulus relief package, in regards to everything that's happened in the last 10 months. And so I've been reading and I saw that, okay, there's a possibility that they're going to push this stimulus package through the Senate. That's for $908 billion. And that sounds all fine and dandy, but when you look at what initially that stimulus was supposed to be, you know, or at least if you go back to the initial version of the HEROES Act, which initially was supposed to be $3 trillion, right? $3 trillion. This was going to help businesses. Some of this was going to go to individual people. This was going to do a bunch of things: PPE equipment, the PPP program, payment protection program, all of these different things that were supposed to support and help the people. Of course, we have a gridlock Congress because nobody wants to get anything done because it's all about ego and how much you can keep your, you know, whoever's in your pocket happy. And so it's just foolery for months and months and months. The people do get an initial stimulus check back in spring, but then we go, what, 6 or 7 months without anything. And so you've had people who not only have lost their jobs, but unemployment benefits have run out because, again, unemployment is not something you can just be in forever. There's a time limit to how much unemployment you can get. But, you know, initially in the past, people were getting the unemployment benefits plus the $600, and some might even also get the $1,200, depending on where they were in their pay bracket or tax bracket. And so we fast forward, and, you know, when I was reading what was in the stimulus bill, I'm like, so first, you know, the initial HEROES Act was supposed to be $3.1 trillion. All right. They kept negotiating. They got it down because the GOP was like, nope. McConnell, I'm not taking to a vote. It got down to about 2.2 trillion. And then it was like, we're just going to lock it in because the House was saying, nope, that's not it. The Senate saying, well, that's what you're going to get. And they have fought and fought. The HEROES Act kind of just disappeared and it's just been sitting there. So now there's a new bill that is not related to the HEROES Act, and this is a bill that's for $908 billion. And the problem I see with it is, one, there's no stimulus check for anybody. So nobody's getting a stimulus, nobody's getting $1,200. And I know people might say, well, okay, it is what it is. But I think, again, for people who have lost everything, that $1,200 is a lot for a lot of people, especially as we're coming into the holiday season. You know, the craziest thing, even with my job, is like we just gave away 70 Christmas trees this week. I'm not gonna lie, I felt some kind of way about it because I was like, I would have rather given out toys because it's kind of like, at least if you can give out some toys and stuff, the kids have something to look forward to for the families that have lost everything. A tree is cool, but the tree, if ain't nothing under it, you know, I just feel like that would be depressing. Like if I was a kid and I went downstairs for Christmas and there's nothing under the tree, my feelings would be hurt. I'm not the biggest Christmas person. I still celebrate, but I'm not pressed about it. But I don't know. I just feel like that $1,200 could do a lot for a lot of people. And then in all honesty, for many people weren't even going to use that $1,200 for Christmas. It was more so to catch up on debt that they're behind on. Like when you're talking about how many people are hurting. And again, you have 12 million Americans who will be kicked off of unemployment on December 26th, the day after Christmas. So you have a lot of people in the country right now trying to figure out the decisions of, do I provide for the kids and the family to at least let them have this one day that can be something for the books? Or, you know, do I make that sacrifice and say, okay, well, some of this needs to go to the rent, water, the car, healthcare. A lot of people have lost their insurance, have been kicked off their insurance because they no longer have jobs. And so people can't afford to get sick. I'll tell you this, there's nothing scarier than not having healthcare. I didn't have it when I was from 21 to 23. I wasn't insured under healthcare because I phased out of my parents' healthcare, and Obamacare hadn't been passed yet. And then by the time it was passed, I wasn't in college anyway, so I didn't qualify. So, you know, for like 18 months, I was walking on eggshells. I had to be real careful. You know what I mean? You living on the edge. Like that's some scary stuff. And then at the time, my father was still alive, but looking at his annual bills, like I said, the bills for his medical care was like in the 6 figures. So I'm like, shoot, let me make sure I don't get caught up with nothing. I low-key broke 2 toes when I was 20. It was rehearsing. We were rehearsing for a dance show. I was trying to do some stupid stunt. I think I talked about it in my Howard podcast. Did the stunt, didn't land on it, and landed straight on my foot and like broke 2 toes. And I've never gotten them taken care of. I think they're okay, but I never got them taken care of because by the time they were really bothering me, I didn't have insurance. And now they don't bother me no more. I should probably get that checked out, but whatever. But again, it's just like you see that there's just no concern for the people. And one of the things I was looking at as I was doing research, you know, 1/4 of parents have gone into debt just paying for their kids' school lunches. Because again, we live in a country where 1 in 5 children are not getting the adequate amounts of food they need in order to not be considered starving. And so in this era where now, you know, a lot of the schools are virtual, a lot of kids are just not in a capacity to get the free lunches, or even if it's not free lunches, the purpose of the school lunch program was to provide food at a reasonable cost. So when you're looking at the average price of school lunches, a lot of those prices are still under $3 a day for a lot of people. And so when you go from that to having to do it all on your own, you know, I think for some people, it's difficult to stretch money and make it last for a whole week to feed the kids and somehow be able to do better than what the schools were able to provide for, you know, that $3 a day. Some people, it's not there, and it depends on where you live. It depends on if you're in a food desert. It depends on what's available. It depends on the kind of time you have as a parent, if you can even be there to feed the kids, because maybe you got to be at work. So, you know, there's a lot of parents right now, you just buy a big case of top ramen noodles, and, you know, the kids already know 12 o'clock going to heat you up some, and that's lunch. Might even be breakfast. And so, I mean, it's a lot for a lot of people. And that Mitch McConnell, God, I really wanted him to lose. I think I wanted McConnell to lose more than I wanted Crazy Man to lose, for real, because McConnell needed to be out of there. It's just, I don't understand why he's still there. And it's not even just him, it's a lot of them. But again, we're now in this place where a lot of these politicians, nobody has smoke for any of them. And they continue to ride this plane of they're for the people, they're for, you know, the well-being of the country, but everything that they do does not reflect that. You see the cuts. You see the silence on larger issues. You see them acting like stuff isn't happening. How many times have you seen a press conference where the media is asking them a very legit question? You know, what are you going to do about the however many people just died in your state because this was cut? Or how, you know, what are you going to do about the fact that you're cutting funding from the schools or something? And then they act like they don't hear anything and just walk out. Or sometimes they'll sit right there and they hear the question and they just act like they can't hear anything. I'm just like, you know what? These people are trifling. I can't wait for all of them to get out. Like, flush everybody out. Of everybody in office right now, I think I rock with like 4% of them. Everybody else, I don't trust. I just feel like with politicians, I think in the future, we'd have to get into the space where you don't trust a politician until they've shown you what it is they're able to do and they've stood on their word or they've done what is right by the people. Other than that, I feel like it's smoke for everybody. I don't care how cool you are. I don't care what remix you know or how good you can do the electric slide. That ain't gonna move me. You gotta do more than that. And even when I'm looking at your track record and I'm looking at everything you've done in the past too, I feel like you still have to answer for it. A lot of people started getting mad at me closer towards the election because I still had my opinions about Joe Biden. It didn't mean that it was an endorsement of Crazy Man, but a lot of people are like, well, you need to get over the crime bill. I'm like, see, this is when we get into the habit where now, and again, I've talked about the crime bill 2 lives ago. We're not about to jump back into it. I talked about it for like 15 whole minutes, and we went into everything surrounding the crime bill, the climate of the country at the time, the messaging that was out there, the people who also endorsed the crime bill, the CBC, a lot of people in the Black community also were pushing for it because the narrative of the whole Black on Black crime was really being pushed out there in the forefront. And this was something that a lot of people signed on for. And then when you got into the conversation of how it operated at the state level, that's where you saw the biggest problems with that crime bill. And that's when you started seeing the mass incarcerations because states could interpret that law however they wanted to. They could add whatever they wanted to. This is when some states started having 3 strikes laws and the menace to society laws, where if you keep getting on people's nerves, it's 25 years of life. I had a cousin who suffered from that where, hold on, I don't know why this is popping up on my screen. I had a cousin who suffered from that where he got his 3rd strike. The judge was like, you're a menace to society, gave him 25 years. He served 23. And so I'm just saying, like, even with politicians, it's kind of like, I'll say this with Joe Biden, it is what it is. He's in there now. And again, I would have rather had Joe Biden in office than crazy Trump any day. Because I need somebody who's not impulsive and crazy in charge. I already said with Cuckoo Man Trump, like low key, I hope they've already changed the nuclear codes. Because I can see him being like one of them kids in the elevator where they push all the buttons before they run out. I can see Trump running out of office and doing whatever he do with the nuclear codes, like peace. And ain't no telling what we left with. But again, I just think with any politician, there's nobody I'm riding for. And it's crazy because even with, I'll get to that article in a second. Let me pause and switch gears here because I do want to read the comments. We'll come back to this because I want to jump into something else. All right, let me jump into some comments real quick. Oh, y'all been typing it up on here. All right. Oh, somebody donated and I did not get a chance to thank you. It's not showing on my thing anymore, but thank you for, who was that? I'll scroll back up, give you your props if I can find you. Dang, I cannot see who it is. But if you did donate when you commented, it will still show you. So as soon as you comment again, I can give you your thanks. Okay. Bob said, I'm in Orlando and you don't want to know how many people here are out of work. Let's see. Yeah, it's It's so much. Shanti said they gave up on the American people. And really, to be honest, they gave up on us years ago. It's just in our face now. It's like they don't even care. In the past, they would try to pretend and, oh, we're trying to get something that's good for you. No, that's been a wrap. That's why I said on the last in the news, check out that Reagan series. It's crazy how everything that happened in that series is so reflective of 2020. Everything, the same conversations, the same talking points, the same situations where you got really, really wealthy people putting in policy that chips away and pretty much attacks people who are in the working class and the middle class, which is pretty much no longer existence. The only difference I say about Reaganomics in the current era we're in is that at least during then there was still a middle class. I don't think there's a middle class today. Either you're working poor or working class, or you're wealthy. There's not really an in-between. Because even when you just talk about like the cost of living, and even like a place like DC, making $100,000 in DC, you'll still be struggling depending on the kind of lifestyle you want to have. And so it all varies. Let me see. Somebody was saying, what was the point of giving the trees? You know, working in a nonprofit, you get a lot of companies that want to donate. And especially towards the end of the year, companies, you know, they trying to hit their quota for donations so they can write it off for charity later on. Or if there's stock and stuff they haven't sold, they'll give it to you. And so we always get inquiries about, you know, here's something in bulk we can give you, blah, 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 blah. I didn't even ask for the trees, but I was told, you know, be ready. You got a delivery coming. I was like, what is it? And I get outside. It's 2 whole crates full of Christmas trees in boxes. It was like 70 of them. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with all this? I mean, we were able to give them all away, though. So that was good. But still. Did I see Chloe and Holly's Tiny Desk concert? I have not seen it yet. I have it saved in my watch later thing on YouTube, but I really enjoy them. So I'll definitely be watching. Let's see. Wow. Bob said he paid $455 for a water bill. Are you a part? I don't know where you're at, Bob, but I just saw this on the news earlier talking about the water prices in Maryland skyrocketing, and depending on which part of Maryland you're in. Melina Smith said, I'm so glad I live in Australia with free healthcare. You ain't got to rub it in, okay? No, I'm just kidding. I'm jealous at the moment. I keep seeing the clips of the people in Australia just partying and living it up because apparently there's no COVID over there anymore. They've been able to control it. So they're just living their best lives. Meanwhile, over here, you got states and everything going back into lockdowns. I'm like, here we go. These lockdowns, it's a lot. Let me see. Lindsey Graham needed to go too. I agree. Who said that? I just lost the comment. Whoever said that. Yeah, Lindsey Graham, he got to go. All right, we're going to keep scrolling. I'm going to get to my next topic because I don't want to spend too much time on this. But yeah, Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, Jim Jordan, Ted Cruz, who made a fool of himself trying to be the person willing to do the opening statements with the Supreme Court case if they would have heard it. We'll get to that too. Man, Lil I 3D, yes, fry him up. I agree. Yes, my father did love that movie, Babs. Okay. One more comment, then I'm gonna keep going. Oh, Orlando. Wow. You would think, okay. Thank you for clearing that up. Okay, the next story I want to jump into is Casey Goodson. Now, this is a story that really has not been trending anywhere. I feel like it's been very under the water. So I was like, well, I'll talk about it. Somebody got to give light to this. And again, it goes back to the conversation we've had about things just being a cycle. And when you have the conversation around police brutality and the racism that's embedded within the policing system in this country, same thing. So Casey Goodson, actually, let me just read what the representative had wrote on social media. I'd rather read that than give my own interpretation. So it says, Casey Goodson Jr., a 23-year-old black man, was murdered by the U.S. Marshal Task Force on December 4th, which is crazy because that's my father's birthday. That's the reason I posted that picture for the announcement of the live. But also, December 4th is also the same day Fred Hampton was killed, by the way. His devastated mother stated, police shot him in the back 3 times through the door. That means he was already in his home. I just want y'all to know that. According to his family, he was returning from a dentist appointment with a Subway sandwich, his face mask and his keys in his hand, and was shot as he entered. The U.S. Marshal for the Southern District of Ohio, Peter Tobin, has confirmed that Casey was not the fugitive they were looking for, and yet still states that he believes the shooting was justified. They claim he was driving down the street, waving a gun, and at some point after, the deputy confronted him, and it went badly. I'll say this. It's interesting when you have the conversations about weapons, because the other bit is a place like Ohio is an open carry state. So I'm like, and I'm not saying open carry means you get to run around and wave a gun, but we're at a place where, for me, I never believed the account of the police ever. just because they've been caught lying too many times. They lie about so much. Even when they're on video, they lie. They just, most of them, it's just the foolery, and there's a system that protects them. But it's like, okay, we've seen so many people show up to federal buildings and state government buildings, even in Ohio, with AR-15s and AK-47s, pissed off about whatever's happening in the government and threatening to kill different people and so on and so forth, and nothing happens. However, all of a sudden, if you're a black person walking around in an open carry state with your weapon, apparently that's a threat. And again, I don't even believe that. Because again, if he's coming from a dentist, look, and he got a Subway sandwich, there is no kind of hunger like the after dentist hunger. I don't know if you've ever had one of those situations, but I got my wisdom teeth, and I hate to put this on me or switch to subjects, but I remember I got my wisdom teeth taken out on the left side a few years back because somehow I cracked the top back one, and they were like, well, rather than trying to put a crown, it's better to just take the tooth out. They don't like it, but if we take that one out, we got to take the one out on the bottom too. Take the tooth out. You know, now you can't eat anything for hours. You know, I had to drink Ensure for like 3 days. I was so pissed. My whole face was all puffed up and swelling. But again, like, there is no hunger like a dentist hunger. I just don't see somebody coming from a dentist, you know, randomly waving a gun. And then it's like the stories that they come up with are always so extreme. He was just waving a gun. Well, give me the reason why somebody randomly does that with a sandwich at the same time. They just say anything. I don't buy it at all. I just think the gun, a lot of times, any kind of conversation around a weapon or a gun it's almost reflex. Anytime there's some kind of situation, bring up the fact that they were potentially dangerous. They had a gun. You know, it's kind of like, remember Crawford? I think that was in Ohio as well. He was shot and killed in Walmart. All he did was pick up the gun that was on display. You know, nobody knew if he was going to purchase it or not, but that was enough for people to be terrified enough to call the police, and then they come in there and shoot him on the spot in the store. You know, you got little kids in there with their mom begging, can they go to the cereal aisle and get the Captain Crunch? Meanwhile, 2 hours over, the police over here having a whole shootout. And so I don't know. So we're going to see what happens with all of that. But the fact that he was killed in front of his family, from what I read, I think the grandma witnessed the thing as well. But you shoot somebody through the door in their home. That means their back is turned. That means they were fleeing. That means they weren't the aggressor. So what are you shooting them for? 3 times. Make it make sense. Okay, let's go to the comments. Yeah, it's the fear for his life BS. You know, they use that every single time. Oh, I feared for my life. I was so scared. I was so scared. I swear. Nicole Smith said he fell dying on the kitchen floor in front of the family. Like, that's some traumatizing stuff. Those are memories you can never erase. Those are things that will shape how you see the world, especially with kids. No body cam, of course. Jeez. Somebody, Brielle said, I just crawled out from under my rock to say they changed the rules when it comes to melanated people carrying guns. They certainly do. I had to have a conversation with a close family member about that crap too, because they thought they could run around, because my old state, I believe, is open carry. I forgot the rules, but maybe it's concealed carry, but they wanted to go to the store with that crap on their hip. I'm like, what are you doing? You know where you live at? And it does not matter what your occupation is. You don't get the same privileges. I think we know that when it comes to these laws, the rules change depending on how you look, where you come from, what you have, and what your lineage is. So some of these rules aren't for us. You know what I mean? Somebody said it was justified. Why? Because he was black. F out of here. I agree, Christine. Like, that's what they'll always say is justified. You know, they got the story. Y'all remember the movie Cornbread, Earl and Me, where Cornbread, he was the older brother, he got killed by the police, and then the police kept trying to lie, and they tried to make the whole family lie about everything. Same thing. And the fact that that was a movie, and it's so reflective of what's happened. That movie's a real throwback, by the way. I don't know why that just popped up, but again, Theodore G, Tamir Rice, and you know, he would have just turned 18, a few weeks ago, had he not been murdered in 2 seconds for not complying because the police thought a 12-year-old was a full adult. And we've talked about that before too, as far as the imaging of black youth and how black youth, unfortunately, are already presented as adults. Even with the girls, I want to say by age 9, depending on how they've developed and how they're built, people mistake them for adults, apparently. Not mistake them as far as the physical, but the mentality. They treat them as adults. And so it works against those poor kids when it comes to anything disciplinary, especially in the schools. Rhea P. And it was a toy. I think she's talking about Tamir Rice. Yeah, Tamir had a BB gun. And I think even with Crawford, wasn't Crawford's a toy too? Somebody can clear that up for me. Again, Rhea P. Yes, who drives around waving a gun randomly at police? If anything, they could have said, okay, well, hell, if that really did happen, What's to say that doesn't have any correlation with whatever he would have been on, depending on what kind of work he got done at the dentist office? You know, like nobody asks those kind of questions. And then if he wasn't the person you were looking for, so why are y'all still pursuing him? Come on, man. Jesus. Orange soda in his hand. Let's see. All right, let me keep moving, folks. The next story is kind of stupid, but I'll talk about it anyway. What's going on, Sexy Alley Cat? That's their name. Somebody said, have I read Obama's book? I'm probably not going to read it. No disrespect. I wasn't interested. I really wasn't. Maybe later. Plus, I'm behind on all my books anyway. I'm one of those people that buys book after book after book, and I start a lot of books at the same time, and it takes me forever to get through all of them. So, I need to catch up on what I'm already reading, and then maybe I'll think about it later. But I wasn't really interested at the moment. You know, even with Michelle, I got Michelle's. I never finished hers. I got like halfway through it and just kind of stopped. And maybe it's because I watched the Netflix series she had, and I was like, okay, well, that's pretty much everything with the book. And then my kids got to go to when she did the book tour, and we got to go to Capital One Arena and sit in the thing. And so for some reason, I just never finished her book. Somebody said I need to finish the Malcolm X book. I just need to finish the Audible version. I've read the hardcover I have the paperback. I've read it 2 or 3 times over the last 10 years, but I'm really enjoying the Audible version. Like I told you guys, the Audible version of the autobiography of Malcolm X is out, and it's really good. They have Lawrence Fishburne doing the reading, and so it's very good. So Olivia Jade, if you don't know, Olivia Jade is Aunt Becky's daughter. Remember Aunt Becky? That's the lady from Full House. Laura, what's her name? Laura Loughlin, whatever. That's the parent who was a part of that whole cheating scandal with the colleges. Thank you, LaRocca Blue. I think that's the first person that donated as well. Pause for 1 second. They said Kyle Rittenhouse had an illegal gun, killed 2 people. I know. And when I called all that out, YouTube took my video down. But anyway, part of the college cheating scandal, I think with Aunt Becky, they paid up like $500,000. They were lying, saying she was on lacrosse or one of the sports teams and everything like that. And I followed the story for a long time because I was annoyed, because I already knew that not too much was going to happen. You knew that the mom was going to get a slap on the wrist. Even when she was going to the preliminary hearing, she's signing autographs and, oh, hi, yeah, you have to come to the beach house. It's at Huntington Beach, you know, just having a good time. And so I was like, yeah, this isn't going to go the way I think it's going to go. And so she got sentenced to 60 days and she'll be home in 2 or 3 weeks. But anyway, Olivia Jade is the daughter. And I guess the daughter had lost some endorsements and her image is a little all over the place. And so she decided to go on the Red Table Talk, you know, with Jada Pinkett Smith and Willow and Mama, I forgot the mom's name, but with the mom. I did not watch it, but I did watch the trailer, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm on Mama's side. The mom was like, I'm not having it. I don't know why she's here. This is the epitome of white privilege. And it was so funny because with the clips that I saw, because the mom was like, child, please, ain't nobody watching it. Like, no, I can't do it, because she was saying the burdens that are already on Black women with everything they have to do with. And then here you come with the most privileged, rich, wealthy problem that isn't even anything that will make a difference between your today and your tomorrow, because you're going to be all right. And you want to come on this platform. That it had me dying just from the trailer, because, you know, there were none of the you like, remember when we talked about the entanglement episode, and I always said that my issue with Red Table Talk is every time I've heard the episode, all you hear is because my coworker at work, like when we had downtime, like at lunch or something, I'd be doing my whatever I'm doing, and all I hear from her computer, I'm like, what are you over there watching? I went over there and watched that thing. And so, yeah, there were no on this one. It was just like, and so the poor girl's talking to Jada's mom. I was just like, okay, so I'm gonna have to watch that to see where that goes. I told y'all I'm gonna start my own one. I said the black couch conversation. As soon as I replace that couch, I'm gonna get a black couch conversation. And I'm, instead of going, I'm gonna go, But I thought Olivia Jade was gonna go on there for maybe something like my family's falling apart and I need help understanding forgiveness, because maybe I don't know, I've been humiliated by my parents and our family dynamic. I thought it was gonna be something like that, but she's on there because she just wants to fix the image. I'm like, oh, well, do that on what? Entertainment Tonight. Go to Iyanla. She'll take you. Go to Iyanla. And Iyanla will be fun because Iyanla will drag her. That'll be fun to watch. So go on Iyanla and you can lay on her bosom and she can tell you, you know, she's going to have you out there eating grass and stuff, but go on out there. You know what I mean? Put your face to the grass. You're going to ask yourself why. You know, just go on Iyanla. That's all I'm saying. All right, let me read some comments here. I read that Iyanla, and this is the last season for that too. Like, Iyanla's funny to me. I told you when I went to Essence 2018, I was looking for Regina Hall. If you follow me, Regina Hall, I don't know, I'm always attracted to women that are so much older, but Regina Hall has been one of those childhood crushes since probably Scary Movie or Best Man. And so she was at one of the seminars with the friend that I was with, wanted to see Iyanla. I'm like, but I don't want to see Iyanla. And she's like, no, we gotta go see. We're gonna see Iyanla. She can tell us about our lives. I'm like, but listen, I was only at Essence because it was gonna be Janet time. So I'm like, all right, Janet and Regina. That's what I'm trying to see. But anyway, we saw maybe like a little bit of Iyanla's piece. And when I was there, Iyanla kept saying something about, you have to pull it out your butt. You have to pull it out your butt. So whatever you got in here, you have to pull it out your butt. I was like, and I'm in there annoyed. And she was talking for like 2 hours. I was like, what time is this over? And then by the time we finished with Iyanla, Regina Hall's thing was done. I was so mad. But it was cool though, because that same night we somehow we got into some industry party. I don't know how we got into it. I talked about it. I did a video talking about Essence that year. We got into some industry party. I was hoping she would be in there, but she wasn't. It was all like the CNN people, and that D-Ray guy was in there, and Angela Rye and April Ryan and Bakari, I forgot his last name. All of them were in there. And then Joey Harris, he used to work with Beyonce. He's on Janet's team now. So I was trying to work my magic so I could somehow get backstage. Didn't happen, but it's cool. Let me check the comments out here. Iyanla. I would never go on there. I wish my family would go on to Iyanla, but not on TV though. Like, we just need to do it behind the scenes because we got too much mess in our family to be on TV. But yeah. Yeah. Everybody can use some therapy. I don't know if Iyanla's method is the best way, but everybody can use some help. Somebody said the first 5 to 7 minutes of the show is the most interesting. I don't know if that's about Red Table Talk or if that's about Iyanla, but okay. Jada also needs to know her privileged kids aren't the same as white privileged kids. That was the other thing, because even when you talk about wealth, racism still is there. Race is still a conversation, and even these rich celebrity black youth are still getting a lot of experiences that are different. Even if they got the wealth does not erase racism. You can't buy your way out of oppression. You can make life a little bit better for yourself, but now you got everybody coming after you. What? Hold on. Shanti Sashay said, and Jada talking about, I never want to be the black person treating white women the way or the same way they treat us. Okay. I told myself I'm going to be a better person, so I'm going to just keep my comment to myself. All right. Where's the PR? I have no idea. Elizabeth was asking me, how do I feel about the COVID vaccine? Oh, Lord, you trying to shake the table tonight. I'll say this. Let me watch and see how the first 5 or 6 rounds go with the rest of y'all. Y'all can go ahead and take it. Let me know how it is. And then I'll think about it. And I'll say this because a lot of black people collectively have been getting a lot of smoke because a lot of black folks are very skittish about a vaccine. And I feel like black people have a right to be just based on the history of what has happened to us. But there's a catch-22 with this conversation because on the flip side, at the same time, it's very hard to get black people to do trials and tests. But because again, going back to the history of this country, we have been the victims of so many ill-fated little projects and guinea pig projects that were just horrible. You've talked about the Tuskegee project. You've talked about the sterilizations in North Carolina. There's so many moments where they've done terrible things to us collectively. And so there's a fear of pharmaceutical anything. And I think black people are in their right minds to have that fear. And so it's absolutely, I don't blame or judge anybody who was like, I don't know. I do think that with the vaccine, I do feel that it will be, hey, Lindsay, I do feel it will be effective, but I think I'm always nervous about the first batch of anything. So that first batch, second batch, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, I'm not going to be in line. I've never even taken the flu shot, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm not an anti-vaxxer or nothing, but with this, I think a lot of people are just real skittish because it just seems like everything happens so fast. And I'm not trying to tell you guys what to go and do. This is just where I'm at. You know what I mean? But again, it's kind of like we're in a catch-22 because we're collectively so afraid to be the volunteers for these trials and stuff because the conversation is as well, people respond to things differently, especially amongst race. That's why if you ever go and you get like a full physical and they do the blood test, when they do the measurement with everything with your kidneys, if you have something like Kaiser Permanente, when they do yours, when you see the reading on your kidneys, they always put what the level is for everybody and then they put what the level is for African Americans. Because again, even with our body types, there's things about us that are different, which is why it's important that some of us do be that person who's willing to be the test person. But it's we just have such a jacked up history. You can't fault people for not being comfortable or trusting. And that's why even when like Barack Obama and Bill Clinton and George Bush were like, oh, well, we'll go ahead and we'll take it. And I'm like, but I'm sorry. No, I don't see y'all as me. I don't. And no disrespect to Barack, but that after he tried it with that thing in Flint with the water, I was like, no, I'm good. So it's a lot. I don't know. I'm gonna just sit kind of watch from the sidelines and see how it goes. I don't know. And then I think, but the issue with COVID is like, there's still so much that's unknown about it. And so even with the vaccine, now they're saying that there weren't any major side effects. The side effects that they've said that they've seen so far is just a soreness in the area where you get the shot. And that's pretty routine for a lot of injections and stuff. But they've been saying, depending on which company, some companies are up to 95% effective. There's another one that just came out that said there's 70, AstraZeneca. I'm like, okay, well, don't take that one. Clearly, you got a 30% chance of growing a third eye. Not the third eye that we use, but the third eye, well, there's have something popping up on the side of your head or something. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to be the one telling you don't take the vaccine. But I'm like, look, I don't know. I'm going to sit back and watch for a little bit. Plus, the life that I live, I don't feel like I'm at risk at the moment because I don't go anywhere. I be at home. I'm at work, but there's nobody at work but me and one person. And yeah, I'm not at the clubs. I see y'all have been turning up in Atlanta, like turning up. You ain't gonna see me at that. I do all my own cooking. I'm not there yet. So as people take it and, you see the numbers and stuff go down, maybe I'll be more comfortable then, maybe a few batches later, just not that first one. It's kind of like people who went and got the PS5 right away or the new Xbox, then it started smoking. You got to work the kinks out. I'm a scaredy cat with stuff like that. Exactly. And you just got to have your own discernment. So I think you just have to figure out where you're at. You know what I mean? So let me see the numbers in a few weeks, how it affects people. Anyway, moving on. Did I get to read the comments? I guess I did because I just answered a question from it. All right. So somebody was asking me about Rudy Giuliani catching COVID. I really don't care. Like I want to say good, but Rudy Giuliani is just, something is weird about that, man. He kind of falls into that same boat with Reagan, but he has undone himself. And when I say that about Reagan, what I mean is Reagan was somebody that I think they just put on his pedestal as being one of the greatest, when in reality, he was just a terrible person all the way through the whole administration, just terrible. When you talk about the policy and just, he was also very impulsive and just reactionary and just cuckoo. Giuliani, I think, for years had this great reputation as just being super great, especially after 9/11, when in reality, people who were from New York were like, no, that man is trash. And so a lot of us had no idea until the racism jumped out on a national platform when he really started saying all the anti-Black rhetoric on the news media and everything. And then with the alignment and the associations with Trump and being so pressed about this election and everything else he's jumped into, that man is just crazy. And then y'all saw the clip. It was from a few weeks back where he had like the tissue and, he blew his nose all in the tissue and then he wiped his mouth. I was like, what the? Just nasty. Ugh. So yeah, apparently he has COVID. Okay. Now this is when I started acting like the people I was fussing about earlier. I mean, people catch it every day. I mean, people catch it all the time. As far as this election, I was reading that the Supreme Court is not going to hear the case that they're trying to push with Pennsylvania. Pretty much they wanted to overturn the votes in Pennsylvania. When I tell you I'm sick of talking about this stupid election, I'm over it. Like, man, Trump, you lost. Let it go. It's done. You lost. And it's okay. It's done. You just lost. Get over it. But, they pretty much were trying to overturn the votes in Pennsylvania. They keep trying to push this narrative that all the votes were manipulated and there were all these different things that took place and so on and so forth. And Supreme Court was like, we don't even want to see it. They didn't even leave a dissent with this one. They're just like, it is foolery. And the crazy bit is you've just seen the dedication to pushing this narrative. And I said this on the last in the news, where if you keep repeating something enough times, people start to believe it. And so when you talk about the conversations around this election being rigged, there's a huge portion of the population that really thinks the election was rigged. And for me, I'm like, it's funny that the election is rigged because they counted the Black votes. Now all of a sudden it's rigged. I think people need to understand that though there's a huge pocket of this country that loved Crazy Man, there's an even larger pocket that was sick of his BS. Especially people in the Black collective weren't having it. And so, like, literally, folks are just tired. And I think you've seen a pattern anyway. Anytime somebody goes against whatever you would call the Trump machine, all of a sudden they're made out to be the enemy. Even when you talk about the whole TikTok thing, they did not care about TikTok having any kind of connection with China and people's information. They did not care about that. They were mad about TikTok because those K-pop stans pretty much found out Trump was going to be doing his rally in Tulsa, and they bought 1 million tickets, and Trump thought 1 million people was coming to his rally, and then 10,000 people showed up and his feelings were hurt. He was embarrassed. So now TikTok got to go. That's what that was about. Like, it's just, you're seeing it. And so they are the last time I checked, 1 for 49 when it comes to the success rate at trying to get stuff pushed through to the courts and overturn stuff. Because in all the swing states, they're claiming the election was rigged or it was cheated. I'm just like, let it go. You lost. Not only did you lose, you lost in states you thought you were going to win, and states that Flip said we've had enough. You just lost. Get over it. Sorry. And he's already gotten wealthy off this anyway. He's already made what, 200, and I think it's at 220 million now, with people who have donated because they think they're helping him fight, to save the election or whatever. I'm just like, y'all are crazy. And then there's even people who now are at this point. I saw it coming out of Arizona. What was this man's name? Let me look it up while I'm talking. It's some kind of right-wing activist guy. His name is Ali Alexander. He's talking about he's willing to give his life for this fight. I'm sorry. There are some politicians I can rock with, but I'm not taking a bullet or dying for any politician in this country. Absolutely not. I'm like, the fact that you're willing to bypass your family, whatever it is that you built, all in the name of a candidate that does not care about you anyway. I mean, most of the candidates don't, but like Orange Man, Cuckoo Man is up front with it. He does not care. And for me, the nail in the coffin and the confirmation for me is the fact that he has yet to acknowledge that Herman Cain has even died. That's when I was like, yeah, he really don't care about y'all at all. But people still just, they align with him. So I'm like, you stupid enough to die for him, go ahead, because people die all the time. That's all I'm saying. But, it's crazy. And even when you talk about evangelicals, one of the things I've noticed, even when you have the conversations of religion, I'm noticing that religion is being used as a weapon to me to pretty much oppress some people. And the conversation, it varies, because I feel like within the Black community, if you don't have the conversation about the LGBT conversation, because Lord, that's a different leg. But and what I mean by that is I think the Black church is too hard on people who are gay. I think that's another conversation. But I think within the Black community, within religion, I think a lot of Black people look to religion for protection and as a shield from what's around. But on the flip side, I feel like a lot of people in white America are using religion as a weapon, and you're seeing them use God as, the divine force as to why Trump needs to be in office. And I'm like, I don't see it. I don't. Y'all are on some other stuff. Anyway, crazy. And then like Cynthia Johnson, the representative, that was the woman who, if you saw that Michigan clip where was it Michigan? I think it was Michigan. Rudy Giuliani, he had those weird witnesses. You saw there was the lady that he made fun of on SNL that I thought she was auditioning for like Legally Blonde or something. I didn't know it was like a real thing. I thought it was a parody, but no, it was real. And then they parodied it. But she was frying up everybody like, this is stupid. Why are we here? They've been giving that woman so many death threats since everything happened, mainly because she's challenging Rudy Giuliani, saying, where is the evidence of all of this cheating? That's the other problem. There's no evidence. All the evidence that has been put out there is either some kind of doctored video or something that went viral, or somebody who can manipulate and Photoshop some stuff and put it out there and come up with these different stories. All the witnesses who've come out all seem to be on the cuckoo train. I'm like, what underpass did you find them under? No disrespect, but it's just like, y'all are, I can't. Anyway, let's check out some comments here. Election is rigged. I'm sorry. I don't think Biden has that kind of pull. Because if Biden had that kind of pull, if the people on the Democrat side had that kind of pull to rig a whole election, Hillary Clinton would have not lost, in my opinion. Anyway, politicians are scumbags. Gamer for Life 07 said, I agree. These politicians don't even pretend to care. They don't. I agree, Love Let Rain. They just it's whatever they want. So y'all see me look. I need to go grab my glasses. I'm over here leaning so far onto the screen. I got some new glasses, but I don't even know where I put them. I'll get them later. I'll just keep straining. Jesse said, Trump is just doing what's expected of him now, making a scene. He's a reality show star. Because at this point, it's like, you lost. And then, but it's crazy because people will still buy into it. They'll buy into it, and they believe it. And yeah, even with the TikTok, Jessica, like she said, it's not even banned. They kind of just, I guess they gave up on it or what. I saw like another company was trying to purchase it. But man. Christine said what? Oh, okay. Let's see. You seem like a nice teacher through your mannerisms. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm not really a teacher though. I work in the after school realm. I guess I do teach, but I'm in the after school. The kids come to me after they've had to sit down for 8 hours. But with COVID, we're not in the actual center, of course. So everything is all either virtual or, I do check in with the families though. Like I'll schedule a Zoom call and kind of check in with each individual family. I did not have dinner tonight, so maybe that's why my words are not coming out the way I want them to come out. But I'll do a Zoom call and check in with each individual family and stuff. And, family sits on, we kind of chit chat and stuff like that. Let's see. All right, I want to move to the next piece. Oh, my friend Whitney's on. What up, Whitney? All right, Whitney's also from the podcast, if you heard the podcast as well, in the Howard episodes. Okay, I did want to speak on the Georgia Senate race. Again, those in Georgia, I hope you all were registered. Yesterday was the last day. Did you guys get a chance to see any of that debate? Like, one, Purdue didn't show up, but that Loeffler lady is just a little cuckoo to me. And the crazy thing is, like, they're already doing what they need to do to start rigging the election. Like, I've already read that in Cobb County, they already have less than half of the polling places that they had this time in November, or when it came to early voting. So instead of the 11 polling places, they're only going to have 5 for early voting. So people who are in Georgia, be vigilant, have your discernment, do what you need to do. Because again, this is going to be I think it's going to be a very ugly race. And I say that because this is a conversation about flipping the Senate. Flipping that Senate means that the old guard of what's been happening probably since 2010 is going to shift. And I mean, that's a struggle for power. And really, this, to be honest, it's almost not even about the people. It's really almost not. I think getting McConnell out of that majority leadership role will make life better for a lot of people. But again, there's so many layers with this crap, man. And then again, I just think people have to be careful because, like with Loeffler, you see they're doing that same bit again where she kept using the same talking point. She did a full debate and said nothing. A full debate of nothingness. All she kept saying, extreme radical left, radical left liberals, the left. And so they keep pushing this thing where it's, and I'm like, what are extreme, what is the radical left? Is that me? Like, who is that? And what are they supposed to do? Is this the radical left? Like they paint it as if there are these people who are meeting at a special secret location and they're planning to blow up the whole country. And they're going to destroy it all because that's what the left wants. And so she had no conversation on policy, no anything. And all she could do was do the fear mongering, get that demographic of Georgia voters who are already terrified of everything that doesn't look like them and paint Warnock to be the angry black radical. And, they were tying stuff in with Jeremiah Wright. And we saw how, like, when Obama was running, that was a conversation back in 07, 08. And so they're painting all these different pictures and, he's anti-police and he's all for police being murdered. And, it's crazy that we now live in a society where when we talk politics, the policy does not matter for a lot of people. They just need to hear the right talking point. If the talking point sounds legit, then, they'll buy into it. And so she was up there looking like a robot, not moving, no facial expressions. Then, like, every time I look, again, the radical left, they want to destroy America. And that's why I'm here to make sure that the voices of the people of Georgia will be heard. Because on January 5th, we are going to show the radical left what we mean, because we mean business. I'm just like, what the hell? Get her off the TV. Like, man, geez, kind of like a female version of Ben Stein. Remember that show, Win Ben Stein's Money? Like, get her off the TV. Freaking cuckoo, random. I swear. Georgia, please, we need that Senate to flip. Because I don't want to be the person who's like, woe is me, the country's going to be chaotic if we have a continuance of what's been happening. Because really, I think we've been living under such extremes for the last few years. We've almost normalized the chaos. It's almost normal to people now, where you're just unfazed. So it's like the threshold of what's crazy and what doesn't make sense keeps getting moved. And as we get into more extreme pockets of things that just make no sense, it becomes our norm. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, even when you're talking like the programs that get cut in relation to what the people need, when you're talking housing, food, different programs with like social programs and everything like that, people have normalized the idea of it not being needed. And so I'm like, even when you talk Social Security, there's some people who could care less about Social Security. And I'm like, you realize you're going to have to retire at some point. And unless you are super wealthy, you're going to need Social Security. It already sucks. My generation probably won't have any of it. And, probably by then they're going to move the retirement age up to 75 or something. And, for a lot of Black men, unfortunately, a lot of us ain't making it past 71. And so I'm just like, oh, okay. But even when you think back, before 1935, before Social Security was a thing, you had to live off of your savings. That was it. And so, if you didn't have anything saved up, you better pray that you raised your kids and they loved you, because you're going to have to live with them. We talked about that even on that Steve Harvey video, when I talked about what the middle class used to look like before the era of what I would like to say a structured and created suburban life, or a structured middle class that was pretty much funded by the government as a response to the benefits that came out of something like the GI Bill, the New Deal, the FHA loans, and all of those programs, like stuff like that. Like, yeah, that's life before all of that. So it's a real conversation. And it even goes back to what I was saying, like even with Betsy and the conversation she had about, there's been a really huge push for student loan forgiveness, because there's so many people who have gotten into some really, really crappy deals because they wanted to pursue an education so that they could have a better life, but the loan sharks got them. And you have people who owe six figures on, a bachelor's degree, and the interest rates are so high on some of these loans that they're never going to pay them off. It's going to take 20 and 30 years, because they say, well, as long as you pay the bare minimum, you're fine. But staying at the bare minimum means the interest rate keeps going up for some people. But just seeing the lack of empathy for people's experience, and somebody like Betsy, who's never been in public school, never went to a public college, has never had to work a day in her life, because one, she's from the family of billionaires. It's just, you see the lack of empathy for the people. And I'm just like, man, it's just, get these people out of here. Get these people out. My goodness. All right. Let me read a few comments. I'm going to move on. This is weird too, by the way. I'm not used to doing lives on Tuesday. This feels so early in the week to me. Like Thursday is my day, but I have another commitment on Thursday. So I was like, we got to do Tuesday. Let's see. Thoughts on hustle culture? I think everybody's experience is different. And so I'm not one to, I don't know. It hasn't been my experience. I'm not educated enough on the subject to really give an opinion. So, but I do know people who live different lives than what I live. I'll say that. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, that's right. Got the live going up on a Tuesday. Going up on a Tuesday. Oh, somebody was asking about Funkmaster Flex. Like he recently had liposuction and like did a whole body liposuction thing. People were asking me about that. I don't really have an opinion, but the thing with liposuction, it kind of makes me nervous. And I say that because do you ever see when they do it, like they have this big, long, this ain't gonna do it. They have that long metal rod, and all I see them do is they just start going, and the doctors just be talking like, yeah, so I'm just like, because I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like they're going to stab an organ or poke me in the heart. Like, I'd be scared to do that. It's just every time I've seen one of those reality shows where they get, liposuction or something, they got that long rod and they just, I'm like, whoa. Okay. I feel like, I was going to say something terrible. I'm going to be quiet. But no, I'm just like that. I mean, I don't know. And then I've seen with liposuction for some people, because you're just pulling out the fat, sometimes things don't settle properly. And then you got pockets and stuff you got to go back and fix. I don't know. He put it on his, I think he did it live or something too, or I don't know, but I wouldn't have done it. I'm good on plastic surgery. I don't think I would ever, I've never had a desire to change anything. Maybe be a little bit taller. It would have been nice to be like 6'1" or something. My dad was 6'1", but my mother was 5 feet. So all I ended up with was very, very long limbs, long arms, long legs, long hands, long feet, but I'm like 5'8". So 5'9" on a good day if I put the shoes with some good sole at the bottom. And then somebody was asking me about the whole Wendy Williams thing. So it's crazy. I don't know if you know, but like Wendy Williams' mother had died. And I thought she had died yesterday or the day before, but she had been dead for weeks. I was like, wow, I would have never known. And I think that would explain why she seemed a little off a few weeks back. People thought like maybe she had relapsed, because she's been very open about her having a cocaine habit and everything else. But people thought it was that. And I'm like, well, maybe if you're looking at the timeline, I'm guessing during that era, that would have been when she was in the initial stages of the grieving and first learning about her mother dying. That has to be hard. But again, I think her mom lived to be close to 90. So that's pretty cool. I would have loved to have both parents live that long. But people, it's life. It's one of the things that comes with getting older is that, unfortunately people pass on. And I always say that's why it's always good to also build new relationships, not to replace the old ones, but So you're always just in a constant place of growth and getting to know people and so on and so forth. But, you know, best wishes to her. Somebody, let me see. Somebody asked me, I was really with this live. I just was looking through all the things y'all sent to me on social media. And I was like, let me just address all that. Somebody just asked me about, do I follow Dionne Warwick on Twitter? Do I? I don't think I do yet. I'll follow her though. She's funny. Every time I think of Dionne Warwick though, you remember Got to Be Real? When that person used to do all the parodies. I always think of that. And I think of when they had Dionne Warwick or whoever was doing the voiceover and they had them doing the voiceover first saying, say a little prayer for you. Like I crack up every time I think about that because whoever had the Dionne voice, they had that voice down. From the moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup. I was like, who is doing this voice? Yeah, so stupid. But I also think of, remember Dionne used to have the psychic hotline when we were little, like Dionne Warwick had one, LaToya Jackson had one. I just be thinking of them infomercials from back in the day. But no, Dionne, I do like her music. I've kind of gotten into her. I used to say that she was somebody I never was too familiar with as far as their music, but I've definitely kind of gone back and revisited her catalog. Recently, I bought, which album was it? Let me see. I recently bought her album. It's called, come on. It is the Just Being Myself album. And there's this song in there called You're Gonna Need Me that I just love. It's an album, I forgot when the album came out. It came out, it was in the 70s probably when it came out, but I really enjoy that album. Speaking of infomercials, isn't it crazy how like, you know, I want to be one of the infomercial actors because they always get to be like super, super dramatic. Like you ever see like the one where they have to cut the tomato with a butter knife. And so they got the butter knife and they're just going through it and they just give up. Or like, I don't know, they're carrying like the bowl or something and they trip over the stair and everything. I don't know. The infomercials are always crap. They crack me up. Those ones that come on after like 2 or 3 in the morning, they're so dramatic. Especially the Life Alert ones. Me and my cousins, we used to make fun of that when we were little kids. I understand it now, but sometimes I used to be like, these are so dramatic, so dramatic. Anyway, where are we at on these comments here? Christine said, get all the rich clowns out of here. That's where I'm at. Like, have your wealth and enjoy it. But listen, I have no problem with people being wealthy. But if you're going to be wealthy, live your wealthy life and don't do things that are going to disenfranchise people who do not have what it is that you have. You know what I mean? People shouldn't have to be collateral to your bad decisions, especially when it comes to the politicians that are rich. That's why I'm looking at the Loeffner lady in Georgia. You're worth $500 million. Why do you want to be a Georgia senator? There's absolutely no reason why you would want to be one unless there's some kind of special interest that you want to connect with. Unless there's a way that it gets you wealthier. I don't understand what would make you want to all of a sudden work for the people. You ain't done it. You haven't done it before. Like, get out of here. Somebody said it looks like a TV antenna, the rod they use for the liposuction. That thing just looks like it hurts. Like, man. Yeah, I'm good on plastic surgery. And I wish a lot of my favorite entertainers would stop going to those doctors' offices as well. It's killing me to see Black people go in and do some of the stuff they do to themselves. I just think we just already have really good genes. And a lot of times the stuff that some of these people have done, they didn't even need to do it just based on how their parents look. Like, come on. Again, but if plastic surgery is for you, go for it. Do what you got to do. Do what makes you happy. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not for me. But hey, if they do have some kind of surgery that can make me be like 6'1", but everything is proportioned, I might just have to think about it. All right. I want to bump my head on the doorway too. Actually, let's go to 6'5". I want to do 6'5". 6'1" is the short and the tall. How's my job going? It's going. I'm grateful to have one. COVID has really done a number on us, but we're here. So amen. Am I working from home? Not really. I'm back and forth. I'm kind of a little bit at both. Someone said Dionne doesn't have the greatest range. I thought that, but as I went back and looked at a lot of her early material, no, Dionne actually used to really, really go in. I just think what it was is the music she was given was very, what's the word I want to use? Because she was more of a pop singer. I mean, she's done a little bit of everything, but I think the music sometimes, I think she found her pocket in the 70s vocally. I think that's when you really see her really like do the singing. And she has a big voice. I didn't realize how big her voice is. So I think Dionne's legacy is a little underappreciated, but I just think, because again, like even me growing up, she wasn't somebody we played in the house aside from Say a Little Prayer for You, but we always played the Aretha version. I always liked Walk On By. But there's a lot of Dionne Warwick material I'm not familiar with, but she had a huge career. Like, before Nicki had broke the record a few years back, I think Dionne was the second most successful woman on Billboard behind Aretha up until probably, I forgot what year. but she had a lot of very successful Billboard entries. Are my coworkers acting up? No, my coworkers, listen, I think I've been blessed in this field of work because all of the people I work with are truly great people, where we all just connect. And I think maybe because we all are, I feel like when you work in a field that's with the people or with the community, it's a very selfless job where you give up a lot of your personal life. It really becomes your investment, where you give up a lot of weekends, you give up a lot of free time. Sometimes the company card isn't loaded. You got to spend your money to do stuff. And I think when you have a team of people that are all there with you, you click. So I truly do work with some of the best people. Like that's how, like my main coworker, I'm the godfather to her child. Like that's how close all of us are at work. And I think that's why we've been there for like 10 years. I've never even had any turnover. Nobody's ever quit under my watch, which is cool. So everybody who I brought on, they're all still there. So that's kind of cool. Only people who have left are people who've either left the state. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of cool. But I do want all of us to kind of branch out and do more as well. I don't want everybody to feel that we have to just lock in. But I've been lucky in this moment, so I'm grateful for it. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, the only downside is you don't get a whole lot of money. You really don't be making money like that. But again, I haven't been doing it for the money. I think you get a reward out of the fact that no day is the same. I think that's what I've loved about the job is every single day is different. It's been kind of boring lately because I don't have the kids, but I'm still seeing the families. Somebody was asking, will I watch the Wendy movie? I probably will. Yeah, I watch it. I remember she was supposed to do another one. I remember back in college, she had another movie that was supposed to come out and Robin Gibbons was playing her. I don't know what happened to that, but I watched the new one. Do you think OnlyFans is bringing capitalism in the bedroom? No, and I say that because so many people have lost their jobs and people have found ways to get their bills paid. I think the beef I would have with OnlyFans is the celebrities that are pretty much saturating that market, where people who honestly are using OnlyFans to build whatever it is that they have. And now you have celebrities who are kind of all jumping on the train and they don't need it. Well, actually, some of them might actually need it. A lot of these celebrities are not as rich as we think they are. Some of them have been faking it to make it. And so some of them really might have to be doing a little something here or there to pay the bills. But that would be the beef that I think I would have. Okay, I want to keep going. I don't want to talk about Kanye. Somebody was asking me about Kanye, and I guess the choir people he's working with are suing him for $1 million. He can work that out. That's him and his folks. Did you guys see the story about the kids in New York who drove all the way? Remind you, one kid that was 12, another kid that was 7. They literally drove from New York to Delaware before they, I think, were stopped. First of all, I just want to know how they were able. That must be some good driving, because when I think back to me learning how to drive, I was a trash driver. If you follow my podcast, there's an episode called Pull Over So I Can Hit You. It tells the whole story of me learning how to drive. And man, it was hell for me. And I'm like, these kids drove from New York City to Delaware. Do you know how chaotic it is to drive in New York if you're not somebody who's already from there? Like, it can be very intimidating. Even DC used to have me paranoid driving when I first moved back out here, or when I first started driving here. Because if you follow me, like, I'm from this nice little farm town called Spanaway, Washington, where there's open road. And so that's where I learned to drive on like open road and parking lots and stuff. You know, DC, when I first started driving out here, I had never even used my horn unless I was warning somebody of danger. Out here, you get to that red light. As soon as the light even thinks about turning green, the people behind you, I'm like, dang, all right. Like, I used to get mad at first. I used to want to fight everybody who used to hunk at me. And mind you, I think I'm a pretty smooth driver. Like, and then they will tailgate the mess out of you. Like, literally just today, I was coming back from court, and I'm not in trouble then, so don't worry. But I was coming back from court, and like the court was all the way in Fairfax, Virginia. I had to come back to DC. It's like you gotta get on like 66, and then I think 495 to get to 395. And there was somebody like on my bumper like this the whole time. I'm like, now if I'm going 80 in a 55, which I should not be doing, what? How much faster you want me to go? I do like my life. Like, folks be driving like they don't want to live. Like, man, I like my life. I'm good. Like, I would like to live a nice long one. If you feel some kind of way, you go on and drive off the road. Don't run me off the road. But no, them kids, I'm glad they were able to be safe. But it was crazy that they could drive that well for 5 hours and understand direction and understanding how the car moves and everything as far as like turns and like, wow, I was impressed. Somebody was saying, F that, take the train. DC Metro's a mess right now. They've had so many budget cuts. All the stations and stuff are all, it sucks right now. That's the only downside about this whole COVID thing. Is just life is, I feel like you have to have a bit of money to really have somewhat of a normalized experience. And then that's a conversation of class and wealth and capitalism all over again. And so I just feel so bad because there's so many people who don't have some of the same luxuries. And so with them like cutting how many stations that are going to be serviced and the bus routes and stuff, it's so much. Like, man, it's a lot. I feel bad for a lot of people. Let me see. Cousin Tiffany said, but my mama can't drive. She really can't. My mother is not a driver. My mom drives. When I still lived at home with my mom, there were only like 3 places she drove to. She drove to work, drove to church. Work, church, sometimes a shopping center that was by the house in the Walmart. That's it. She's not getting on no freeway. Oh, I remember she cussed me out this one time because I asked her to give me a ride to this party we were trying to go to. And she was one of them parents. Like most people have the parent where it's like, you know, you can get a ride there, but you need to find a ride back, or you need to, you know, find a ride back and I'll take you there. You're not getting both. My mom was like, you're not getting either. So I'm not doing it. So this one specific day, she was like, okay, I'm going to drive you to this, but I really don't feel like going. And it was only because the house was maybe 5 minutes away. My friend gave me a crappy address. And this is before the era of the smartphone. This is really when you still had to print out a MapQuest thing with directions. I didn't even know what MapQuest was at the time. We couldn't find the house. I got cussed out the whole car ride back. We got lost on the way home. And mind you, this is a small town. I don't even know how you get lost in Stanwick, but we got lost. Never again. My mom does not like driving. And it's funny because now she's in Georgia, like Atlanta Metro. And I'm like, how are you doing it? Because, you know, Atlanta, they got them freeways with like 108,000 lanes and you got to go across. And I'm like, shh, how do you do it? But she's retired, so she ain't got to work no more. All right. Lakia said that Instagram story of her laughing at you where you guys Instagram is funny. Y'all are funny. Y'all are cracking up at that story. I was saying on Instagram, like me and my mom roast each other all the time. And so like there was this Instagram story I posted where I was firing my mom up because she was going out. Like my mom is just, her dating life is more jumping than mine at the moment, but she was going out. And so she got on this outfit, but it had these little sleeves that would hang like Diana Ross. So I was firing her up. I was like, well, you Diana Ross? And she had a little haircut. So I started singing Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand. But like, it was almost karma because then I posted another clip from like 3 years ago. And there was this one time I got stood up on this date. I was so mad too. And so I was supposed to be, you know, I came back home at like 8:05. My mom was like, what happened? What happened? Because I was visiting my mom back in Washington. And so when she found out like the person, like she never showed up, my mom could not stop laughing. She thought that crap was so funny. Like she was dying. Like I was like, whose mom does that? All right. Anyway, somebody said, did she have shoulder pads? No, she didn't. Not with that dress. But back in the day, she sure did have the shoulder pads. Okay. I'm winding down here. Let me see. Oh, and then somebody's talking about the Olympics. So apparently, breakdancing is going to be one of the sports in the 2024 Olympics. So hey, those of you who can cut a rug, you know, bust it out. My best friend Brian, growing up, he could break dance. I used to be jealous because he was trying to show me all the stuff. I just wasn't coordinated enough because we could both dance, which was kind of cool, but he could break dance, and he used to keep trying to teach me the Flair 90. I could not. I don't know if y'all know what that is. You'd have to YouTube it, but he used to try to teach me that Flair 90, and I think my arms were too long. I couldn't do it. It's the thing where it's like you hold yourself up and spinning your legs. So I couldn't do it. And now at this age, it's too late to try to learn it. I can't be trying to do no head spin because I could rip my hair follicles out. I'll be bald headed at the top. So let that one go. But no, I got to check in on my friend Brian too. I haven't talked to him in a good minute. But yeah, he was a break dancer. It was really cool. It was this Samoan kid I grew up with. Let me see. Oh, people were asking about Vlad. So apparently there's been a history of a lot of people who keep getting in trouble based on what's on the internet. And so I forgot the name of the rapper. Y'all can put it in the comment section. But pretty much there's a case going against him in court. And pretty much they use his Vlad interview as, you know, evidence of things that have happened. And the thing that I would say to that is like, that's been a history you've seen with the court process, especially with entertainers. They've been using rap lyrics, interviews, magazine interviews, statement. They've been using that for years against entertainers. So I'm like, y'all should just be careful. Casanova, thank you, Nicole Smith. But I've never really liked Vlad. I'll watch Every Blue Moon. I watched the Shaka Khan one, but I'm not big on Vlad. And the thing with Vlad is that they just seem to never be researched enough for my liking. And I just think sometimes it's interesting that a lot of the questions they always ask, and I notice it, is that they always ask the questions to the celebrities that are related to something that they may have done illegally back in the day. Like, because even when I was watching the Shaka Khan one, he wanted to know all the stuff about her. There's some story about a gun and stuff. I'm like, I mean, I feel like you can have those conversations, but I think there's some people you should not trust. Something about them is fishy. That whole Vlad, I don't know. But with the Vlad interview, it was Lunel giving the interview that day. But I think the guy was still sitting right there with her. So Vlad is just pretty much like a YouTube channel that interviews celebrities. They have some really interesting interviews, but I just think if you're going to go on something like that, I don't know. People feel like he's an informant, or I don't know. There's too many coincidences with Vlad. I'm good on them. But I'll be honest, there's a lot of things I don't like with this whole internet world, especially even the YouTube world. I'm seeing stuff I really don't like. I'm not a fan of like messy bloggers or people who are, how do I word this? I see some really nasty things. So even with Instagram, who's the guy from I don't know these people's names, man. I don't keep up with them. But even with the conversation around Dionne, there was somebody, one of these bloggers, who was talking about like her nostrils and everything. And I'm like, see, this is the stuff we be talking about. Like, I just think there's a lot of people that have really bad energy, but bad energy is profitable. And you see so many people exploit Black talent and Black legacy artists I can't do it. There's so many things I don't like about what I see sometimes with YouTube. And it's one of the reasons why I kind of just stay in my own YouTube bubble, and I don't really work with other larger channels and stuff. There's certain channels people want me to go on and stuff. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to stick to my own little thing and mind my business, because I just see a lot of bad energy coming from a lot of folks. There's too many people dedicated to destroying the lives of celebrities. I'm not the biggest celebrity follower where I'm like, oh, I follow everything they do, but people are still going to be human. And I think when it gets messy, when you start getting into people's relationships and you got the picture of who you think they may have been cheating with because you saw them at Burger King together, and you got exclusive tonight, you got to see it, and we got to get this, and this person's mother disowned him, and I got the whole, I just think all of that is I'm not with that. So that kind of stuff I don't follow. I mean, it's entertaining, but I don't know. I think what happens is, and there's so many channels that are like that. And this is no disrespect if that's what you do, but I think there's so many channels that are like that. And so they're all in competition to get the latest scoop. And so it becomes a nastier and nastier process where you really see, if you just look at how like something, what's like the Shade Room, or I think it's Hollywood Unlocked, Jason Lee guy, that's who I was talking about. And some of the other channels, if you just compare what some of these conversations are like now to just 10 years ago, it's totally different, just as far as the energy you see put out there. There's no regard for people's family or anything. It's like you say whatever you want to put out there just because it's going to get you the views, and it is what it is. Maybe that's why my channel never really blew up like that. It's just there's certain things I'm not going to indulge in. I don't mind talking celebrity culture, but there's certain things I'm not rushing to be a face of. I'm good on that. Let's see, where are we at on these comments? Petty gossip, yeah. Julesy, I know who Julesy is. I don't really follow them, but I know who she is. Seems pretty cool. The channels I do check out on occasion. I told you I'm like a dork. I like all the history stuff. So I love the Bright Sun Films channel. That's the one that talks about all the businesses that were really successful, but then they went under. So it'd be like, you know, why is Circuit City not here anymore? And they'll have a whole thing. I like watching that. I like the Defunct Land channel. That's the one that talks about all the amusement parks that are no longer here. So talking about like the Six Flags that was in New Orleans. I like please forgive me if I say her name wrong. And this is not me being shady. It's the name of her channel. It's like Nappy Headed Jojoba. That's her name, I think. I like her channel. She's pretty cool. I think I said her name. Forgive me if I said it wrong. Who else do I watch? I watch Tone Talks sometimes because he's really good with numbers. Those are it. Everything else is all concerts. Everything else is like, for Harriet. I don't know if I've seen her. I think I've seen for Harriet's the lady with the locks. I might have seen one or two of her videos. There's a few other people. And then to be honest, even the subscribers I have, like if y'all have a channel, I will check out your stuff. There's a subscriber, AR Stinger, I'll check out sometimes. Yeah, I'll watch some of their stuff. So yeah. All right. Anyway, but I'm kind of, I'm not really on YouTube like that when it comes to like the celebrity gossip. If I'm watching YouTube, it's because I done tried to learn something. One of my good subscribers, I think it's what's his name? Dang it. It's the subscriber. Dang it. Well, the email name is CMax, but they always send me some really good stuff. I was just watching, I should send it to you guys. He had just sent me, and I watched it a few years ago, Reconstruction America After the Civil War. That's a really good watch on YouTube. It's like 3 hours. If you really want to go into the dynamics of what happened in regards to Andrew Johnson and all the foolery that happened, surrounding Reconstruction and how there was an opportunity for many Black Americans to be very successful after slavery, but once they, once leadership shifted, they were like, oh, cut all that, cut this, cut that, and cut this. And then you started seeing like the Black codes and stuff come out. Really good watch. Albert Old School. I think that's the same person. I think that's his name. Oh, I watched, somebody said the Henry Louis Gates special on PBS. Yeah, all of those I watch on PBS. I'm a dork. I be watching all the stuff. I don't know. I'm just a history buff. That history and music. I know it sounds boring. I am dry. I know I'm lame. I watch that. If it ain't that, it's Animal Planet and Nat Geo Wild. I like to watch the lion go and chase the little whatever animal, and I be praying that the animal's gonna make it out. That's my kind of entertainment. Let me see. Somebody said, Calvin, you also have children that look up to you, so I'm glad you're not out here gossiping. That makes it hard, too, because sometimes I want to have some other conversations, but I have to censor because I'm like, I don't know who's watching. And then even my kids have found my stuff, so I have to be careful with what I say now. I can't even have the fun I want to have. Do I watch Lovely T.I. 2002? Do I know who that is? I think I know who that is. That's the lady that kind of looks like Tamika from Escape. I think I've seen one or two of her videos. Let's see. I think that's who that is. I'm not sure. Sometimes there's people I watch and I don't even know their names. You just be watching their stuff all the time. Somebody said Impressive. I like Impressive's the documentary thing she does. I'll watch those. All right, I want to keep moving on, y'all. All right, anyway. Actually, we're winding down anyway. Somebody asked me about this whole nightclub thing with Trey Songz. Again, at this point, y'all, people gonna do what they're gonna do. Just do what you do. Just be safe. That's where I'm at. I'm over it. But I wouldn't. I was like, people, you gonna risk the life for Trey Songz? That's all I'm saying. I was like, oh, okay, different. Yeah, okay. Apparently, he had a concert at some kind of club in Ohio, and there was like 500 people in there. The biggest beef I had is at least have the mask on. That's all I'm saying. At this point, people are gathering, and it is what it is. But like, at least have the mask on if y'all gonna be in a hot club and everybody breathing and sweating. And I know with Trey Songz, I know when he comes on that stage, the women in there are just So I'm just thinking of all the stuff flying out. I told you at that time, Valentine's Day of 2010, me and this girl went to what city? Atlantic City. Trump Taj Mahal Casino, and it was a Trey Songz concert. I'll never do that again because it's the stupidest thing as a man you can ever do is take a woman to a Trey Songz concert. Don't ever do it because the minute that man gets on the stage, you are invisible. You just, man, as soon as he came on the stage, because he was a little late, it was like women just were climbing over the seats. I mean, security is just pulling it. I was like, this is y'all are wild in here. Okay. And it was actually a good show. The band was really dope. But as soon as he came out, they said, Same thing when I saw Maxwell at Verizon Center back in 2009. I saw him at the Kennedy Center. I think that might have been this year before COVID or at the end of the year. But I saw him at Capital One. Well, it was Verizon Center back then. Man, he came out, them women in there. And this was older women. This wasn't the little 20-year-old girls. This was like this was your auntie's concert. He said this line. It was so nasty, but he was like, I don't even care what time of the month it is. We could put a towel down. And this woman who was sitting next to me, who had to be probably my mother's age, was like, you ain't even got to worry about that with me no more. I'm like, okay. But, at this point, I just think with celebrities, if it's a conversation about money or a conversation about, paying finances, because I think with music and entertainers, it has been a rough year because a lot of people get their revenue from touring. I'm just like, do the virtual shows. I thought it was really dope that Shaka Khan did the Thanksgiving show where I think you paid $12 and you got a free Thanksgiving show. And the show was live and it was up for 48 hours. And, a lot of artists have been doing the virtual shows. I think that's Fantasia did one. Tory Lanez, before he got himself in trouble, he had one. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people with the virtual shows. Just go virtual. But, it is what it is, I guess. I just think, and with virtual, the cool thing, you can reach anybody. It's global. So if you really have that kind of pool, you can easily have 20, 30, 40,000 people on your show or your live stream. And, and if you really want to get larger, lower the price, have it be like $3, $4. I bet you can probably pull 70, 80,000 people depending on who you are. And depending on the kind of pool you have as a celebrity, you can really pull in an audience. You know what I mean? Somebody was asking me about Logan Paul fighting Floyd Mayweather. I'm gonna say this. Floyd, you better win, because after what we had to go through with Nate Robinson, that was the most painful thing to witness. I know I sound crazy, but for some reason in my head, I can't stand when black people get beat up by somebody white. I just can't stand it. I'm like, no. Like, I'm just like, man, that's why I said I would never go on something like The Real World, because I always feel like it would be just my luck. I'd be the only black person in the house. They'd purposely put somebody super, super, super racist in the house, but they'd make sure he was like 6'7", 300 pounds, so I wouldn't be able to do too much. And I'm just like, nope, I can see them setting me up. And I always said, if I were ever to get in a fight with somebody white and I'm losing, I am not giving up. I'm going to fight to the death on that one. I'm just not losing. Nope. You just got to bust my eye out, carry me out on a stretcher. I don't care. I'm not losing. Nope, not doing it. Just sudden ancestors would not be proud. Can't do it. But man, Nate Robinson got laid out. I was like, damn, Nate. Oh, that hurt to watch. I was just like, what is this? I'm not really a fighter anyway. I don't be fighting like that. I'm a nice person. People get along with me. So like, I can count on probably one hand how many fights I've been in as an adult. Most of the fights I got into were like when I was a kid with like either cousins or my brother. But yeah, I'm not really a fighter. Plus, I'm not gonna lie. I ain't gonna fight fair because I ain't the biggest person, so I'm gonna cheat. Sorry, it is what it is. Like if I were ever to get beat up, y'all ain't gonna see me. Like I'm not coming back on camera until the swelling goes down. Y'all be like, "Where's Calvin Michaels?" Y'all be getting nothing but podcast episodes for a few weeks. Like man, I'm not one to do the fighting thing. You know, I'm in good shape though. I be working out every day. Look, my chest look a little defined today, right? But no, I ain't really the fighter. That's why I only have like 2 friends I'll go and throw a punch for. One of them, and it's crazy because about every 5 months they get into something to be called, and I'm like, look, man, we getting too old for this. And normally I'm good and I can use the words and then we can bring down whatever the issue is and we can leave on a good note. But there was one time it got real close and I was like, man, I was nervous because it was like 4 of them and 2 of us. I was like, okay. And I think I had to do a live the next day. I was like, man, this ain't gonna go well. But we were able to smooth it out. I told y'all, don't call me for the fights. I'm the fun friend. You call me when you want the good time. You want to go, y'all need to turn up and regulate and square up with somebody. You go call the fighting friend. I ain't really the fighting type. Anyway, that's pretty much most of what I had. So we can kind of chop it up for a little bit. It's crazy. This is going to be one of the shorter lives tonight, I guess. I just feel like there's not a lot happening that I want to cover. So I'm going to spend a lot of time in the comments section. All right. Somebody also asked me about that KFC movie. I didn't even know there was a movie. I had to look it up, but that sounds stupid. And I'll say, as somebody who's a script writer and as somebody who knows a lot of people who work in film and television and people who try to get their projects greenlit, it's almost insulting in my opinion. There are so many people that have great ideas and concepts that never get the yes, you can kind of go for it. Here's the funding, knock it out. But then you always see these stupid projects that they get greenlit. Like, man. All right, so we'll chat music for a little bit. Let's see. Somebody said I went to see Maxwell back in 2009. Good times. That might have been the same show I went to, the same tour. It was the Midsummer's Night tour. I wanted to go to the one where it was him, Jill Scott, and Erykah Badu, but he canceled the rest of the tour before I could see him. Pass the mic with the 90s act. So I'm so mad because with the Soul Train Awards, I missed it. I didn't see it until after I had already done my review and uploaded it. And everybody in the comments were like, you didn't talk about the pass the mic. I was like, I didn't know. Like, it was like, thank you, good night. And the credits were rolling. So I turned it off and was like, oh, let me go ahead and do my video. I'm about to give my subscribers some content tonight. It's going to be out early. And then when I uploaded the video, something was wrong with the sound the first time. So the sound cut out in 2 minutes. And I had to go back and recompress the video and figure out what was wrong with the sound. So the video didn't even come out till 4 in the morning. I was so pissed. Then I still had to go to work. Yeah, Floyd Mayweather, you better not lose. I swear. Like, once you retire, I feel like when you retire on top, just stay out and chill. Let that legacy chill. But they keep going back. It was kind of like Muhammad Ali. Like that last fight, I think was in the early 80s. And it killed me to watch it because by then he was already not well. Even with his I think the Parkinson's had already kicked in, but I don't think it was diagnosed. But he was so delayed. It's such a painful fight to watch. I hate watching it. And then the person who was fighting was like some new boxer. And I was like, nah. I'm so mad watching that. Floyd, just stay home. Let's see. Big Brother 2. I don't really watch Big Brother. I watched the Big Brother, the celebrity one. I watched the one that had who was on there? Candy from Escape. And Tamar, I watched some of that one a little bit. They have too many episodes. It'd be like an episode every day. It's like a lifetime commitment. I'm like, listen, give me a show that comes on once a week. I can't do it coming on 3 and 4 times. I don't have that kind of time. But I did watch the Celebrity Big Brother with New York from Flavor of Love. That one was funny, but that was the one in the UK. That was some entertainment. But yeah, homeboy Nate Robinson, like I was like 2 hits, he was out, just laid out. Man, if I ever get beat up, y'all are never gonna know about it. I'm gonna take that crap to the grave. Let's see. Tammy and David from The Real World. I don't know if I remember that season. Let's see. Street fighting and professional boxing. Showing. I always, I tell that to my kids when they be fighting. You know what? I've been fortunate. I've never had a really, really big fight at my center with the teenagers, because that's one of the things when you have a bunch of teenagers and ego and energy, things happen. But fortunately, there's never been a serious like fight at my site where I've had to pull people apart. It's always the little kids. And then I always tell them, don't be out here fighting for free. If you're gonna fight, get a check for it. You really shouldn't be fighting. But what you fighting for free for? You know what I mean? Go get some boxing gloves and get a career. And try not to be heavyweight, because the heavyweight boxers, all of them got brain damage because they've been getting hit by 300-pound fists. That's all I'm saying. Somebody said, nah, once you hit 30, fighting is over. I'm telling you, you get too old for it. And then half the stuff ain't even that deep anyway. Like, man, it's not even that serious when you think it's stuff people really want to pop up about. What's your opinion on the restaurant owner in Texas going off on the lady story? That was interesting. That was a lot. I guess I haven't followed the full story all the way, but I have seen that like people were saying that they felt some kind of way because he went in on the girls for doing that. But then there was footage of, I guess, people in his same restaurant standing on the tables, but it was men. And so they had that conversation. I mean, it's his business. He can do what he wants. That's how I look at it. But I do think we have to get in the habit of not talking down to Black people collectively, thinking that just because you're doing something great, automatically it puts you above everybody else, and so you can talk down to people. But I'm kind of, is it safe to say I'm on both sides? I don't know if you can be that, but I don't know. Again, I didn't follow the story, but I followed the memes and the social media commentary. That's what had me dying. I was like, y'all are stupid on here. Like, Twitter makes stuff so funny. Like, man, I be on there dying. People take, like, that's the only thing about Twitter. Stuff be so serious and people will turn it into a joke, and you be in there like, yo, y'all are come on. I was dying like that whole week. But let me see. What are my thoughts on the Braxton Family Show? I ain't watched that show in years. I like the Braxtons, but I lost interest. Please share your thoughts on BTS cultural appropriation. We've done a few cultural appropriation videos, but with BTS, like I said, I think they're talented, but they're mechanical. People really, really like them. I see what people see in them, but they're not for me. That's a lot of the K-pop acts. I just think because they're so trained, I think we had this conversation. There's a conversation of being gifted and there's a conversation of being skilled. And I think with skilled, it's more so a conversation of the training that you've received where you've mastered your training. But then there's some people who are just naturally gifted and they just already have it. And with a little extra push or support as far as rehearsal, they get even better. And I just think with a lot of K-pop acts, they're almost, it's like everything is so perfect, which is cool, but it's like, it's like a machine. And so in my head, I feel like you'll have the BTS group, which has been very successful. They might be the most successful K-pop group in the United States, at least. And then in a few years, there'll be the next group and the next group and the next group. Like when I was a kid, Boa was the one that was everywhere. Boa, actually, I like Boa. She was this girl. Boa was huge, like 04, 05, 06. They tried to push her in America. She didn't catch on. I remember Lexi was pretty big in 04. I used to actually follow K-pop because Washington State has a really huge Asian population. And so you'd often hear the songs all the time. But I'm not into K-pop. And I do think it makes me question, like, what is your actual identity? Because your entire image is borrowed from us. And so it's cool to pay your homage, but like, what is it that you bring to the table? Because even back then, me and my friends used to laugh sometimes. There was this singer called Lee Highroy. She had this song called Just 1 10-Minute. And in the video, it was like she had this jersey dress on, like the one Maya used to wear in the Best of Me remix video with Jay-Z. And so there's this scene where she's like driving through, I guess, what was supposed to be the hood in Korea, and they're out there playing basketball. I was like, okay, I guess. All right. And so I'm not really into them, but they got a crazy fan base because they was frying me up on one of them videos I made because I was like, I don't think their mics are on. Boy, them BTS, that army, they came and flooded that video. They let me have it that night. My Twitter is Gimmieabeat, Gimmieabeat. Almost messed that up. Give me a beat. Yeah, I got a few videos on cultural appropriation. But yeah, I did like Boa. Boa was the one I rocked with. Let's see. Oh yeah, Mutada. Y'all take me back to when I was like 15. Wow. All right. Anyway, can you talk about neo soul? Is there even neo soul anymore? It's still there. I just think, actually, no, it really is there. You know what people should do? I think if you have it in your cable package, that music choice network is one of those networks where there's no picture. It's just the words and songs playing. You can discover some really, really good music on Music Choice. That's where I find most of my music. Or I watch BET Soul sometimes when they do like the Sub Soul show where they kind of play the artists that you normally aren't going to hear on the radio. You can find some really good music there. I think neo soul is still here, but I think with the industry, the backing has just changed. We kind of talked about that on the last video when we talked about Teyana Taylor. The backing has changed in regards to what's supported with the labels. And I think in music, we're in this era where there's a catch-22. The bad part is that the era, in my opinion, of the superstar, megastar selling out stadiums and you get the toy doll that looks like you in the shoes and all that. That era, in my opinion, is phasing out. And we're in that era of those last few artists that get to ride that wave. And I think the artists that are on that wave are, you know, the Beyonce, maybe even a Drake, who else? Lady Gaga, you know, the big name ones, and the legacy artists that are still holding on. So I think that era has phased out just because the industry's changed. The money is not there in the same way to push artists that same way. But on the flip side, the good thing is that one, music is accessible to everybody, which again is a catch-22 because this is why people don't want to pay for music anymore. But when I say accessible, I mean like there's a lot of artists that have really supportive fan bases, and some artists are not even commercial. You don't even know who they are, but they have very supportive fan bases where they can always tour and sell out the venue. And I think that's because the internet has been something that really helped to put people in that lane. It's kind of like when you go back to Prince after he left Warner Brothers, and you had that period where he wasn't signed and he was releasing a bunch of albums through the internet. And it's almost like he kind of was doing what we're doing now, where, you know, he was doing his own distribution and doing all these different things for his fans through the internet. Like he had a whole, I forgot what the name of the store was. It was, if you're like a real Prince fan, you might know what I'm talking about. It was a store, dang, was it the Crystal Ball store? It was something, but he had his whole website, which was pretty much almost like a streaming service where it was all this Prince catalog, all of this Prince, everything. You could order stuff. It was, you could get invites to Paisley Park for his concerts because he was doing concerts at his house specifically for fans. You could get access to different projects. So like even the Black Album, which was an album that was shelved, I think you could get early access to that. It was a bunch of cool things. So it's an interesting industry. I just think you have to work the industry in your favor. It depends on how much backing you have and what it is that you can do. You know what I mean? I wish I could think of what it's called. Man, it was cool though, because I didn't use it because I was too little and I couldn't order stuff online. I was like 12 or 13. Have to support our artists, young and old. I agree. Jasmine Lettucey, Roy Ayers. Yeah. And so, like I said, going back to the initial question, I think Neo Soul is still here. My favorite station in DC is Magic 102.3. And I love them because they play a little bit of everything. And the Neo Soul acts, like a Lettucey gets a lot of airplay here. Music Soul Child still gets a lot of airplay. India Ari gets a lot of airplay. D'Angelo gets airplay. Rashawn Patterson, who I think is very, very, very slept on, gets a lot of airplay here. Keith Young, is that his name? I think that's his name. He gets some airplay. You know, Jill Erica, of course, literally they're on every other 5 minutes. Who else? I'm skipping a lot of people, but Neo Soul, I think it's where you live. DC has always been very supportive of good music, so Neo Soul gets a lot of airplay here. But you know, everything kind of works in a cycle, so we'll see a resurgence, I think. And I really think, like I've been saying, once this COVID crap finally slows and people can go to concerts again and people can really push their projects, I think like 2022 to about 2024 is going to be lit musically. I think we're going to get so many good projects, some really, really good tours. I mean, these tours are going to be selling out. You're going to be having to fight to get good seats. There's going to be some really great concerts that come out. I can't wait. Sing, sing, please. Y'all always want me to sing after I've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes. And I'll sing another day. Y'all know, I told you I am not the singer. I should call my Tiffany. If I call you, will you sing on the phone? I don't know if she's still here. Make my cousin sing for y'all. We'll get a real singer. I told you I do not see myself as the vocalist. I'll sing on the next live, but I'll have to do it as soon as we start. I've been talking too much. I didn't even get to drink my tea. What do you think of Congress decriminalizing weed after locking up black? Good question. Oh, my cousin is here. Tiffany, you want to sing for us? I'll call you on the phone. You can sing. It runs in the family. Just pretend if she starts singing, just pretend it's me with a man voice. I don't know if she's gonna sing. It's late, but my cousin be getting it in. She said yes. Oh, I'm calling you, Tiffany. Hold on. She gonna be like, don't be calling me. Put me on the spot. Let's see. But it's going back to the question. I feel some kind of way where I keep seeing these articles where it says, okay, she will. Cool. I keep seeing these articles where it says, like, how come not a lot of black people are taking advantage of the weed business? And I'm like, because you got them all locked up. So, you know what I mean? Some trifling stuff. Hold on. Let me call my cousin. Let's see. I don't know how this is going to sound through the mic. Have your song ready. We in a concert. Let's see. Hey. Praise the Lord. All right. Whatever is in your heart to sing. Can you guys hear my cousin?
Oh, my God. Okay. Tell everybody to tell me what to sing. What do they want?
All right. She wants to know what y'all want her to sing. All right. I told y'all. This is my cousin.
What genre?
What kind of genre? What do y'all want? Gospel, R&B? What you want? I like when she sings Layla Hathaway's Forever for Love for Always. I like that one. But
Okay.
Oh, is that what you're gonna do? Oh, well, hold on. Hold on. Let me ask them. I don't want to take over. My bad. Somebody said a Christmas song. Hey, somebody said praise the Lord. Amen. Somebody said something gospel. So it's whatever's in your heart to sing. I feel like,
oh my gosh, it's all over the place.
Monica. I feel like it's a Sister Act too when they asked her to sing Mary Had a Little Lamb. You sing whatever's in your heart to sing.
Okay, let's see. A Christmas song, maybe. Let's see. It is Christmas. But you said you like Layla.
I like Layla because I like your low pocket. But she can sing really high too.
Yeah, I can. Let me see.
Do what's in your heart to sing while I keep reading the comments.
Okay, let me do. I can do that one.
Okay.
I can do Layla. Forever. Okay, you ready?
We ready like Master P.
Now y'all know, listen.
She didn't get to warm up.
Yes, it's 11 o'clock at night, so this is crazy, but I will sing this. Okay. All right.
Don't embarrass me. No, I'm just kidding.
You're so funny. All right. There was a time when I didn't have no one, didn't have no love. Do you remember? Oh yeah, the love that we once had. Well, if I had the chance to love you again, now make your heart forget I was ever there. If we forget the past, I know that time love will last forever. You're always for love. Oh, forever, for always, for love. Oh, it's gonna be starting here, starting now. Yeah.
Boom! There you go. Oh, she's still going. Let me shut up. Keep going. Do your thing. My bad. You look at me messing it up. I'm sorry, Tiffany. I thought you was done. That's good.
Okay.
I appreciate you.
So we're gonna have to do a live. Maybe we can do a live and do like the Christmas carols.
Yeah, you know, I told you I got another live on the 17th. So look, I'll sing on the 17th. We'll make it a family thing. Get Sylvia on the phone too. There we go. Oh, and Marcus. And I'll see if I can get my brother.
We can get my mom on the phone. Yeah.
There we go.
I can go over to mom's house and get my mom on there. And we can do a whole family thing.
All right. Boom. Got it. Appreciate you, cousin. Thank you. All right. Be blessed. Talk to you later. Bye. Told y'all my cousin is dope. Love her. And look at me just interrupted. Oh, she killed it. She was still going. But no, she's always been like, she's the singer in the family. I think I'm all right. But as soon as she opened her mouth, I sit down and shut up. That was funny. That's good. See, I think that's an idea too for my station head show. Have some people call in and sing. But yeah, so like I said, Tiffany, she's really gifted. Back in the day when we were little, because they had her in like the adult choir even as a kid. And there was her and there was this girl, Lisa. And the two of them used to just stump a hole in the floor singing. Like, crazy. It made no sense. All right. Somebody said, do I think New Jack Swing can make a return? I think music that makes people dance and feel good will always come and, you know, make it cycles. I love New Jack Swing. It's absolutely my favorite genre of R&B. So much fun. So much fun. Let's see. Somebody said y'all about to give us a Christmas course. Now, see, I'm going to try to get the family. Like, a lot of my family is skittish about the internet, especially like my Aunt Gloria. She's not one who really likes to be, that's Tiffany's mom. She's not one that likes to be on the internet like that. It would be dope if I could get my brother, because my brother can really sing as well too. He likes to hold back, but he goes in when he wants to. And so that'll be dope if I could get me, my cousin, well, no, Brandon ain't gonna say, but my brother Marcus, Tiffany, Gloria, my Aunt Sylvia, the five of us, that'd be a lot of fun. But we'll cross our fingers and see. I don't know how it is. This is late for my family. Anyway, appreciate y'all. Tiffany, you got Cash App. If you got one, put it in there. I'm sure people will donate. So we'll wind down for the night and hang out for a little bit longer. Like I said, the next live is on the 17th. I'm doing, somebody said, am I a tenor? I'm kind of in a mix where I'm in both. So when I was a kid, if you notice, my speaking voice is always higher. I've always had a high speaking voice. So as a kid, I had to be in the alto section. I used to be so embarrassed as a kid. And then, but I could still sing tenor. And as I got older, my voice dropped a little bit. So it depends on what it is. I consider myself a tenor, but I can sing in some alto ranges. But I like to stay low, kind of. I have a thinner voice, so I have to work my pocket. And so I try not to go up there if I don't have to. Marcel, I did get to talk about the election hearings. It's in the very beginning. So once I finish and upload this video, as soon as it's live, it should probably be in the first 30 minutes. By the way, Tiffany put her Cash App right in here. $ I am Tiffany with an I, Michelle with one L. Boom, there you go. Oh, I sound like a hip hop DJ. We should do that again. But yeah, let's see. The small business shout outs. Don't worry, it comes out on Monday. Not Monday, I'm sorry. It comes out. Sure, hold on. I wrote it on my phone. Sorry. Monday is the Station Head show. The business video comes out on, because I tried to map out the rest of December for you guys so I can have everything together, because the Usher video comes out on the 30th. We're doing the live show on the 17th. We're doing Station Head on the 14th. The shout out video comes out on the 19th, which is next Saturday. Depending on what my schedule looks like, I might just bump it up and put it out this Saturday, the 12th. We'll see. And so I had to do 2 parts because so many of you guys gave submissions, which I appreciate. So I'm probably going to have them both come out back to back. So one to come one week, one to come the other week. Because I know if I do both of them on the same day, everybody will watch the first one. No one will watch the second one. And I think that's jacked up. And then the order of how it's presented, I just did it in response to the order that they came in the email. So if you're not in the first one, it's not because I had a preference over anybody. It was just I went in order of the emails. I'll open it up again to go for, this will be the 5th one when I open it again. After the new year, I'll take some more submissions for some new ones as well. All right. Somebody said $5 for Tiffany's. Okay, I'm gonna send that to her. All right. Canada loves me. Thank you, Canada. Oh, have you watched the I Was a Soul Train Dancer interviews? Those are fun. I watched the one with the Asian lady with the long hair that was in the Rick James video. I saw hers. There was another one I saw. I think, was it Jodie Watley? It might have been Jodie. I don't know. That was a good one though. How do you get a business shout out? All you need to do is send me an email at calvinmichaels@gmail.com and just give me the insight to what it is that you're doing. Or you can do Instagram as well. I prefer the email only because I get a lot of Instagram messages, like a lot. And sometimes I can't get to everybody's in a reasonable time frame. And sometimes I feel like sometimes they get lost in there. So it's harder to get me on Instagram sometimes. And so I have moments where I'll do a whole flush and just go message through message and make sure I've got everything. But sometimes, like those of you who, if we interact on Instagram, you may notice sometimes you may send me a message, but I don't get back to you until 3 or 4 or 5 days later. It's not on purpose. It's just you get flooded sometimes. All right. What is the next music? Oh, I'm sorry. I am sick. Let me go grab my glasses. Hold on. And don't make fun of them either. Where's my glasses at? Damn. Where are the glasses at? I don't even know where I put these things. Okay, so maybe not. Maybe we're not getting the glasses because I don't know where I put them. Where's my glasses? Where? Damn. Oh well, I'll just be blind, people. I can't even find where they're at. I'm always putting, and it's so. And the crazy part is, I have the case right here. Make it make sense. Okay. Anyway. But as far as dominant genre for 2022, I really don't know. But I do think people are going to want feel-good music. I think with this era that we've been in, that's just been so dark and gloomy as far as all the death and people financially hurting and everything. People want something that makes them feel good. So I think a lot of up-tempos will finally make their return. I'm praying for it. Like, that's my thing. That's why with my albums, I really like to front-load my albums with up-tempos because I like music that makes people feel good. And then you close the album out with things that smooth everything out. And you know, I like that. That's where I'm at. So we'll see. Do I think that Black people, Jesus, I am struggling for real. Do I believe Black and brown folks locked up for weed will really have their records expunged, or is it a lie? I think there's an effort to actually do that, but I think you're going to run into issues when it comes to the state level. And with some of these crazy governors that exist, that's where you're going to run into errors. But if you're talking about on a federal level, I can see that being a thing. I think what's going to have to happen, even especially with Joe and Kamala's administration, a lot of people, even though they have won, they have already been met with so much criticism because a lot of people are just kind of tired of the government as well. And as far as just different things that have been done. So I think they're really going to have to sell themselves in this term, especially because I don't think Joe Biden is going to run for re-election because I think he's just going to feel like I'm a little too old. And so it would be on Kamala. And so I think they're going to have to really have one super, I was about to cuss, really dope term in order to really win over the people. So I can see them pushing a lot of the things they're saying they're trying to do. Somebody said we need to dance right now. I need to, whatchamacallit, I be in my house getting it in. when it's time to clean up on the weekend, I put in that music, crank it up. Listen, I am not that blind. They said put everything in caps so Calvin can see. I can still see. It's just me being ridiculous because I've been up all day looking at screens. I'm not sitting on the glasses. No, I don't know where I put them. Oh, I'm so annoyed. Dang. Oh, well. And I got those good glasses, those ones that are the blue light reflective and everything too. Like, man. See, I spend too much time looking at screens because I'm always editing videos. Even like as my side hustles, I told you I do video editing for other companies too, plus the YouTube stuff. And then even when you're doing a YouTube video, you have to kind of look at the camera and keep talking and keep talking and keep talking. Your eyes get all dry from staring at the same thing. Man. All right. Lucy Pearl. I like them too. I play Lucy Pearl when I clean. I played them too. I really enjoyed that single they had. Or the main one, the Dance Tonight. That's my song. Kamala is pronounced Kamala. I thought I said Kamala. I might have said Kamala. I still think Kamala. I like Kamala more, but out of respect for her, I'll call it Kamala. Somebody said, when's the next So What Happened video? December 30th. Usher, Here I Stand album. What do I think of Dr. Boyce Watkins? I just, no disrespect to him. I'm not going to try to say my full 2 cents. I just think he jumps in a lot of directions, and I'll leave it at that. Yeah, I'll leave it right there. Somebody said, always keep your glasses on the desk. Well, the problem is, like, I have multiple spaces in here where I do work. So everything isn't like normally right here. I've unhooked it, but I have pieces of my like studio here. So like I have my drum kit and stuff that's normally sitting here. And then I normally have my other keyboard thing here to go with this key. Like all that is usually over here, but I move it all when I do the lives. And so I don't know where I put my glasses. Did I see Mariah's Christmas special? I did not, but I do like Mariah though. I'll probably watch it when I get a chance. I did read the book. I rock with Mariah. Out of all her Christmas songs, the one I like the most is Oh Holy Night, because I liked how she did the ending. She really she sang. Somebody said check the table by the door. I don't even have a table by my door. All I got is a counter. I think it's in my room somewhere. I'll find it later. Chris V said, I just shot a video for No Such Thing. I told y'all when I was shouting him out the last time, that was my favorite song off his project. He has a song called No Such Thing. So Chris V, Chris without an H, check him out. Have I ever been a motivational speaker, or am I one already? I have never been one, but I guess you could say I motivate the kids to do well. I don't mind doing that. That would be fun to do. I could do that. I've always wanted to do a TED Talk. But I'm so long-winded. I don't know how I would fit in their time frame. They'd be like, they had to turn the mic off to get me to shut up, because once I get in my pocket. Oh, that's a good question. Did you hear Dawn Robinson of En Vogue and Lucy Pearl talk about her experience in the latter trio? I did not, so I need to watch that. But I did see her comments about the whole idea of an En Vogue reunion and how she felt that Rona shouldn't be in it. I'm actually not agreeing with Dawn on that one. And I'll say this. I know people love the original En Vogue. I love them too. All of my favorite En Vogue songs are from the original lineup. Runaway Love is probably one of the greatest R&B songs to come out that is very underrated. However, I just feel that the reason that En Vogue is even in the conversations of many people is partially because of Rona, because she's helped work to keep that legacy alive. So after they split, in 96, 97, and, they came out with the EV3 album, which in my opinion, I still feel like it's EV4 because Dawn's vocals are still all over the album. But it's like literally after EV3, you saw the decline of the group. Nobody bought Masterpiece Theater. Nobody bought Soulflower. But En Vogue continued, and they came out with a Christmas album with another girl named Amanda. And then, they got back with the lineup with with Terry, Cindy, and Rona. And they have toured and done all these different specials, and they've done movies and everything. And I personally feel that Rona has helped to contribute to keep En Vogue's legacy alive, because when you think of all the girl groups that were out from that era that are no longer here, nobody's talking about any of these groups except for En Vogue, TLC, SWV. Nobody's talking about Jade, which is a group I enjoy, but and to be fair, Jade did not have the same commercial success as some of these groups mentioned, but nobody's talking about Jade, nobody's talking about Brownstone, nobody's talking about Jeanne, nobody's talking about Cut Close, nobody's talking about Changing Faces, and Escape, they're talking about Escape. And so I feel like with a lot of these artists who've been able to keep somewhat of a legacy, it came from touring, it came from staying out there, it came from doing what you can do to stay relevant. I think Rona plays a huge role in that, even with the rebranding. And En Vogue has done very well for themselves with the lineup featuring Rona. And I think it's jacked up to just dismiss her because she wasn't there. You guys can figure out an arrangement where maybe during a portion of the show, it's the original 4 that are there. And then maybe you can bring all 5 out and however you want to do it. But I just think it's jacked up that they keep going after Rona. Like, they be doing that girl wrong sometimes. I'm like, it's messed up. And again, Dawn, at the end of the day, you left the group. You left. And I understand it was a conversation about contracts, and Dawn felt some kind of way because she said, well, y'all let Terry do a solo project and I want to do mine. I don't want to fully commit to this project yet because I was trying to do another one. I understand all of that, but I just think you left the group. The group suffered for years and carried on and have been able to stay afloat 20 plus years after they fell off. And so that comes from a lot of hard work. So like, I'm sorry, Dawn, no disrespect. I love Dawn, but come on, man. And then, I don't know, I'm not trying to bash the lady, but it's just like, y'all work it out. Because I think I told this story before. So back in 2007 or 8, I was still at Howard. There was this guy named Charles Whitfield, who at the time he was over Hidden Beach Recordings. That was the label that Kindred the Family Soul was on. That was the label Jill Scott was on. And so at the time period, En Vogue had just kind of got back together. Like, they had just done that BET Awards in 2007. Charles Whitfield used to come to Howard once a semester, and he would do kind of like this music showcase to try to pretty much kind of recruit talent and everything. He wanted people for the street team. He wanted people possibly to sign and everything. And at the time he was working with, who's the guy that sings Nobody Knows, but nobody knows it but me. Who's that? Tony Rich. He was doing something with Tony Rich in relation to the Yes We Can campaign with Barack Obama and Will.i.am. And so I randomly had run with him with this idea. And I was like, hey, what about In Vogue? You know, they're back together. That would be really dope if you would sign In Vogue to, you know, some kind of production deal or something, and, you know, or distribution deal, and put them out. I think this is the perfect time, because there was all this hype after that Alicia Keys performance. Because you remember Alicia Keys had this performance. It was TLC, it was SWV, it was In Vogue. Everybody was like, yo, you know, everybody was hype about In Vogue. And I remember I kept telling Mr. Whitfield, like, yo, I think this would be dope. I think this would be dope. He was like, eh. And I had another friend who at the time, they had another friend named Chloe that was working there. And they were saying the same thing to Chloe to tell Mr. Whitfield, but they just would not budge on the In Vogue thing. But I think In Vogue definitely had a shot at a comeback around like 07, 08 with the original lineup. But anyway, it is what it is. Moving on. Why didn't Reby hit like Michael or Janet? Well, Reby was a lot older. Like, Reby is 18 years older than Janet. So I think it was just a different era. Like, when Reby came out, she was already married. She had a family. She did hit when she hit. I mean, Centipede, when it came out, she was doing better than Janet, but Reby just never had the same backing. She didn't have the big giant, you know, who's texting me? Oh, thank you. Who's that? Serenity Joy, appreciate it. Yeah, Reby just didn't have the same backing. And again, just because you're in a very successful family does not guarantee you're going to have the success. Because even when you look at the Jacksons, people always say, well, Janet's only famous because of her brother. But I'm like, if that's the case, the other 7 siblings should have all had Janet Jackson careers. But I do like Reby. Reby I think she's the stronger singer out of the 3 sisters. It's no secret. I think Janet knows how to work what she has. What happened to another bad creation? I don't know, but one of y'all told me on the announcement when I talked about when I made the post saying we were going live. I think one of y'all said I looked like a member of the Boys. I don't know if you saw the picture, but it's this picture I took with my parents. I was probably 3 or 4, but I got like the little high top fade in the part and that gold chain, and I had the sweater with the turtleneck tucked in. It's a very 1990s picture. And then my dad had this leather. My mom, I should have put my mom in it, but my mom doesn't like to be on the net. But like, they had matching outfits, just like blue leather blazer with red shirts under it. Like, we looked very 1991-ish. So yeah, that's funny. Another bad creation. The last time I checked, well, they had an unsung. I was about to say some of them went to South Africa, but I think that was the group, the Boys. Yeah, let's see. Moke and Steph. You know what's funny with Moke and Steph? I think I said this before. I just always remember Moke and Steph went on All That and performed He's Mine. Now, I don't know if you've heard that song, but that's that song where it's, he might be doing you, but he's thinking about me. And I was like, y'all sing that in front of the kids? And then Nickelodeon had this CD that came out when I was maybe 8. And it was like, I don't know what it was called, but on the CD, I remember it had TLC singing All That song. Moke and Steph's He's Mine was on there. I think This Is How We Do It was on there. Funny. The 90s was lit. I'm sorry. I'd be feeling bad for people who didn't get to experience that era. Like, if you missed the 90s or the 80s or the 70s, everybody thinks their era was the best. But I just feel like it was lit growing up in the 90s. I wish I could remember more of the 80s, but I was too young. Let's see. Chloe and Holly covered a Jeanne song. I heard it. Which song did they cover? Was it Sending My Love? I think it was that one, right? I'm going to check that one out. I do love that song. Let me download the radio app. I know your channel's going to jam. Oh, yeah, I already got my ideas, so we about to be jamming on Stationhead. So, yeah, follow me on the Stationhead. It's going to be lit. Somebody said, Tiffany, go get your cousin. What did I do? I don't know what I did. Am I in trouble? I don't know what I did here. All right. All right, we're going to wrap up soon because I need to go to bed. I have to get up early tomorrow. How old am I? I'm 32. Do I think EDM music will be the next dominant music genre for Billboard Hot 100? I don't think it'll be dominant, but I do think it will make a comeback. I just think there needs to be a refresh button. Give people something we haven't heard. You know what and it's hard to do because as time progresses, it's almost like everything's been done. But give people something that's just fresh. People want something that just has some oomph to it. I'm bored. I'm not gonna lie. There's some good music out, but I'm bored. EDM is electronic dance music, so all like the Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande, Rain on Me type stuff. I like EDM, but everybody don't want to hear that sometimes. And it's cool. I prefer house music over EDM. And when I say house, I'm talking throwback late 80s to early 90s, CC Peniston, Black Box, Crystal Waters type house. That's what I like. Or 10 City. You know, that's the kind of stuff I'm into. Let's see. Love some 90s house music. That was some fun stuff. And that's back when people used to actually dance and enjoy themselves. Like people were like, it seemed like people were just freer. Everybody wasn't so worried about what other people would say about them or how they looked. And, you know, this is also before cell phones and stuff. So people wouldn't have been in the clubs looking at the phones. Like when you went to a party, you went there to party. So if I could go on a time machine, I'd love to go back to one of those parties from like 91 where it's like just New Jack Swing and house music. I know those parties were lit. Because even when I was a kid, my parents used to party until I was about 6 or 7. But I remember they used to have them parties and they used to have that house jumping and I'd have to stay upstairs and stay in my room because they thought I was in my bed and I'd be watching from the side. And sometimes they'd let me come down there and dance for a little bit. Then I have to go back to bed. All right, we're wrapping up soon. Let me see. Somebody said, I thought EDM was popular in 2013. It was like from like 2011-ish, maybe even 2010. Well, I feel like 2010, 2011, even 2009 was more of a dance up-tempo pop type of thing, and then it evolved more into EDM, and then EDM just ran the show till close to almost 2014. They were not playing. Do I listen to country music? I do. It's one of the things I do when white people piss me off, and I got to remind myself that there are some good people out there. No, I'm just kidding. I do listen to country because of where I grew up. You heard country all the time. But I don't really know a lot of the new country artists. The country I would have listened to was all the stuff that came out between like 94 and maybe 2005. So I really like, well, now they're the Chicks. I like all of their work. Their new album is all right. I didn't like, the only song I like on their new project is the Texas Man and the Sleep at Night song. And there's another song towards the end of the album that Natalie sings where she's really like going in on the ex-husband. That one's cool, but I like their Taking the Long Way Round album a lot more. Also in country, Keith Urban is all right. I be feeling like he's racist though. So I don't be playing him too much. I like that there's a newer artist. Her name is Jenna. I forgot the name of this artist, but she has a song called like I Got the Boy. And the song is about saying like the guy that she dated, she had him while he was a boy, but the woman who gets him later, she got the man. I thought that was a clever song. There's a few songs. I like who's the people that sing the When I Taste Tequila song? I don't think that's country, but it fits in that same category. Anyway. Oh, what did I think of the new Babyface song produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis? Love it. Definitely rock it. I enjoyed it. Oh, yeah. Esmont said Shania Twain on your bus ride. I do rock with Shania. She just needs to keep her political opinions to herself because she pissed me off with that Trump crap. But yeah, I rock with Shania. She has a few songs I like a lot. The one my favorite was Forever for Always. That was Forever. I'm thinking Layla. How's keeping you forever? Oh, it is Forever and for Always. Okay, that song. What else did I like from her? There's a song called Ain't No Particular Way I liked. Minus the big singles. I'm trying to name the album tracks that I like from her. She has some okay stuff. I rock with Shania. Yeah, exactly, Nan Nelson. Like they're country, but they have a pop feel. A lot of the country I listen to is a little bit more commercial. I even like the remake that the country artist did of. It was a Patty song, wasn't it? It was way back in the day. It was like Reba and I forgot these women's names. I feel like they had a country version of On My Own. Was it On My Own? You know, the Patty and Michael McDonald song. I think it was either On My Own. It was On My Own. I like that version too from back in the day. But again, that's just because country was played in the area that I grew up in. So you just got used to it and you started to like it as you got older. It's not my go-to, you know, but I'll listen to it. I like songs that tell us stories. And I think they're really good at. I know On My Own is not country, DC. I'm saying some country folks remade it. They made a country version. Yeah, but yeah, country's all right. It ain't my go-to, but I'll listen to it. Like I said, I like to hear people tell a story. And I really love strings and I like violas and violins and fiddles and stuff. So that always works. Okay. We're gonna wrap in 5 minutes. 11:25. I'm getting off because I need to go to bed. And again, I did not have dinner, so I need to eat something light before I go to sleep. John Denver is more like folk. Folk is okay. I can get into some folk. I wasn't the biggest folk person, but I did like Joni Mitchell. Let's see. Charlie Wilson. Hey, I like the new Charlie Wilson and Smokey Robinson song, Angela. That's a dope song. I like that. Like I said on the last video, it's dope that Charlie Wilson, he hits every single time. Every song he's come out with in like the last 18 months really knocks. I'm like, you be killing it. Do I listen to reggae? I do. I like a lot of the older stuff. My favorite song is, I like the I Wayne song, Can't Satisfy Her. That was my favorite song. I think that's what it's called. It's the song subject matter is terrible, but for some reason I like the melody of the song. Somebody said, eat Calvin, I'm skinny. Leave me alone, I'm buff. Now, I done gained 20 pounds in the last 2 years, believe it or not. Who do you think could play Mariah Carey in her biopic first, based on her book? I don't know. I think they would need to get somebody who we haven't seen before. I think that's what kind of worked with the TLC movie. I think Drew Sidora was a good choice for T-Boss because a lot of people didn't know who she was. And so it worked. So yeah. Gregory Porter is really good too. Very, very talented. Very talented. Don't be laughing at me. I told y'all I'm buff. Y'all didn't see my album cover? Just kidding. I had just enough chest for a picture. All right. Let me go on and do another project so I can bulk up some more. Somebody said, make that baby some tatas, cornbread with some other chicken. I already cooked. Y'all hating on, F all of y'all. I said I was buff. Y'all some haters. Now my little thing is over here sliding. Hold on, let me fix this. All right. Knock that back over. Anyway, I'm joking. Y'all know I'm like being sarcastic when I say I'm buff, right? But anyway, happened to Rascal Flatts? I don't know what happened to them. Okay, Hootie and the Blowfish, I passed on Mr. Rouser. I didn't like them as a kid. And I think what it was, I think I was just mad because I remember in their heyday, like them and TLC were out at the same time, and they used to beat TLC at all the awards. I'm like, oh my God, they get on my nerves. Because I used to always hear the, how do I know with you all day. I'm like, what is, but I like Darius Rucker. What are your thoughts of the white girl going to Spelman? I mean, HBCUs have always had white students. Legally, you can't tell somebody they can't come to your institution of learning because of their race. But and with HBCUs, a lot of these HBCUs often are targeted for not being diverse enough, and often there's threats to pull funding when they don't diversify a bit. That's one of the things that was happening with Howard when I was there. But there's always been white students at HBCUs. I just would hope that when they go, they're really there to really like learn and understand the Black plight. And it's not just something where, I don't know, they didn't get into the school of their choice, so they settled for the Black school because the Black school would give them a full ride. But every white person that I knew at Howard was actually really, really cool. And I think they were very like, I don't want to use the word respectful, but I think a lot of them had some serious learning experiences after being there. I think they saw what it was like to be on the other end of the spectrum where you're the odd one out every time. And now you're very cautious of your race every time you step out of the house. So let me see. All right, we got like 2 minutes left. System of a Down. I remember that. I forgot the words. Yeah, I remember them. I forgot how the song goes, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Maxie Priest. Oh, that girl. Ooh, that was a little commercial, but he was cool. Do you think the Aretha Franklin, lose my voice. Do you think the Aretha Franklin movie should go to streaming because it got pushed back so many times, even though Aretha wants it in theaters? It sucks to be in the movie industry right now because a lot of they've been holding out for a lot of films because they really want to push this movie release, in theaters. A lot of companies are like, forget it, we'll just do the on-demand, straight to video, buy it that way. But I think again, people are afraid of revenue when it comes to stuff not being in the theaters. But now that they've closed so many theaters, it's like, man, you don't even know what to do. If it's Aretha's wish for the movie to be released to theaters, I mean, you can meet her wish, but I mean, there's 2 Aretha projects coming out, right? There's one with the one lady, I forgot her name, and then there's the one with J Hud. And so, I'd prefer they just go ahead and just do a dual release. You give people the option, put it in the theater and let people be able to purchase it on demand. I think with everything that's changing, you have to also be ahead of the curve and be ready to adjust for change. That's one of the things that messed up the music industry. As the internet was becoming more prominent, people in those offices did not pay attention to the fact that the internet would be the next big thing. And they were behind the ball. And so when Napster comes out and BearShare and Kazaa and LimeWire and Winmix and all of these sites where you could peer-to-peer network and take music and do whatever you want, the industry has had to play catch up. Their first response to playing catch up was iTunes, which is cool because you can buy the individual tracks and everything. But still, people, if I can get it for free, with that mindset, just get it for free. So iTunes worked, but iTunes was when the industry started losing a lot of money. Then you kind of shifted to the idea of streaming where, okay, people still aren't really sold on purchasing albums and singles as much as we would like them to. Let's just do the streaming because we're in this era where people can rip a song off YouTube and it is what it is. But at least with streaming, you have access to a whole library. I think with streaming can be successful for the industry if they can get enough people to invest in it or support it as far as getting subscriptions and utilizing the material. Because like I said in the last video, the industry is finally starting to recoup a lot of the money they've lost. They're still not bringing in what they used to make, but they're doing better than even just 2 years ago in regards to streaming. And also the resurgence of vinyls has helped a lot too. So I just think people you got to be ahead of the curve when it comes to technology. That's one of the things that probably saved my job was that we went virtual and we had the means to go virtual and still provide the services. If we didn't do that, I don't think I would have had a job once COVID kicked in. All right. Plus, somebody said who can afford to go to the movies, right? That crap be so expensive. All right, guys. This has been cool. I appreciate y'all, but I need to go to bed. And let's see. So again, like I said, December 17th is the next live. Like I said, we're just gonna have a little bit of fun. I'm gonna cross my fingers and see if we can get the cousins on. There's no guarantee. I know Tiffany will do it, but everybody else be acting scary. Hell, I'd be acting scary. So that might be fun. So December 17th is the live. Follow me on Station Head. Like I said, the first show is next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. All right. And like I said, with Station Head, you guys are able to do the chat just like you're doing now, but you can also call in. I can play music. It's uncensored, so I can say what I want and not have to worry about anything being yanked down. The subject matter on the shows will probably change every day. I don't even know what we're going to talk about on each episode, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, and if it's something that is not super great, well, we'll just jump into the next endeavor like we always do. All right. So please stay safe, stay sane. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me on a Tuesday, which is not our normal night. I don't know what other YouTubers live thing I impose on. I try to be strategic with when I do my lives. I try not to take over somebody else's slot, but this was the slot that was available for me this week. So, all right, stay safe. I'm out until next time. Good night.